Hey everyone, you're listening to the official podcast of 4PlayerNetwork.com. Check us out at that address for everything you need to know about our community, monthly giveaways, and nightly live streams. You can even support us on Patreon at patreon.com/4Player. And last but not least, you can catch the live recordings of these podcasts every single Thursday night on our Twitch channel. We hope to see you there. Enjoy. Hey everyone, welcome to 4Player Podcast. This is episode 653. It is September 3rd, 2020. My name is Nick Henderson, and I am joined tonight by Bradley Simons.
What's up?
Nolan Hedstrom.
How's it going, everybody?
And Christopher Davis.
Hello.
How's everybody doing in these
Alive?
dark times that we live in?
I did a terrible thing to myself.
Is this appropriate? Should I ask you what you're talking about?
It's safe for work, but
Did you spend money you shouldn't have spent? Is that what I'm sensing? Is that
No. I made
Wrong size cock ring.
cutting off circulation?
And
Is that what we're talking?
not quite. I made 5 pounds of pulled pork today, and oh god.
And now you have to eat it.
Now I have to eat it.
You made your bed and now you've got to sleep in it?
I didn't think about it. I was like, the recipe calls for this much. Okay, I'll get this much. Wait, I'm living alone in my apartment. There's no one to help me.
With 5 pounds of pulled pork now. Wonderful. It's funny. I just said you made your bed. Now you have to sleep in it, and now I'm thinking about sleeping in a bed full of pulled pork, which is rather disgusting. Now that I think about it. Nolan, what's new with you and your head?
I don't
Not
know,
safe for work, Nick. Jesus Christ.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Thinking a lot about life.
Yeah.
I mean, what do you want me to say, Nick?
You shaved your head. It looks good.
You want me to say I shaved my head?
It looks good.
My hair's gone. I'm bald.
It looks great. It looks
Thank you.
fantastic.
Think of the money you're going to save on shampoo.
I mean, the funny thing is you can't just not you have to clean your head, Chris. Just because you don't have hair there doesn't mean you don't have to clean it.
Yeah, but now you can just save money by getting the all-in-one body wash and shampoo thing.
Dude, fuck
now
that.
you're good
I'm
to
an
go.
adult. I'm an adult. I don't use the 3-in-1.
Is that what that 3-in-1 is actually for? Is for people who don't have hair on their head?
I don't brush my teeth with it. I don't use it to I have a shampoo, and sometimes I'll use Bernadette's conditioner. And I have body wash. I don't have 3-in-1 stuff.
Brad, what do you have in your shower?
Like rubber duckies and other bullshit toys, like hanging from the towel rack and shit. So
I believe it.
Yeah.
I actually have a rubber ducky in my shower. It's Robin's. I don't even know where it came from.
Did she steal it from the penguin?
We got a basketball goal on the faucet.
Mm-hmm.
And other bullshit like that.
I think Bernadette's in chat. I think she's like, you use my conditioner? You're busted, Nolan. You're busted.
That basketball goal comment made me think, have you seen that comic? It's like a guy and a girl, and they're getting hot and heavy, and she undresses, and right between her legs is like a basketball hoop. And then he pulls out his pants, and between his legs is a basketball. And he does like a flying spin dunk into her like basket. It's a pretty good comic. I'll find it and post it in chat.
I don't think my imagination can quite do that concept justice. I would like to see that one. Anyways,
I always go for the 3, and it's just really awkward. It's just me jacking off in the corner.
Jesus,
no,
leave it to Brad.
What is a 3-pointer in that situation?
What's a half-court shot look like? I'm sorry.
From downtown.
Okay. Anyways, welcome to 4Player Podcast, guys. It's been over a month since we've had like our last like regular show. We've been in the month of August. We played and talked about games that came out in the year 2000, pretty much exclusively. So we really haven't had a conversation about anything new in a while. Tonight we're getting back to business. We're doing our thing. We're going to talk about some newer stuff. We're going to talk about Fall Guys finally. We're going to talk about some Wasteland 3. Brad, did you end up starting that other, what's that? Was it a Dote Nod game? Tell me
why. Yeah, I did start that.
Are you going to talk about that tonight? I don't remember if it was on the docket.
No.
Well,
I'm
shame.
not.
Sorry. Then if you're listening to the show,
is it a
completely
shame?
forget
Nick?
I said that.
Is it a shame?
I don't know. I haven't really. Is it?
I mean,
is it,
really,
is it
I
not
didn't.
good?
I didn't touch it. Malia
No.
played it. I was just watching,
And it had.
and then I hit Alt F4 after like an hour, 30 minutes, 35 minutes, and no one was sad. It's really boring.
Okay.
But I think all of those games are kind of boring. Like I would never play them. Like in fact, if she
When you
wasn't
say
willing
all
to
of
play
them, which games are you lumping together right now?
all of the games where all you do is walk around and look at 15 different things in a room. Those.
That sounds exciting, Brad.
So
Yeah.
so Tales from the Borderlands, you're saying that no, you don't like that game.
You had to bring that up.
I made Malia play Tales from the Borderlands.
I feel okay. First of all, before we go any further, I feel like I should address the elephant in the room because I feel, if I remember correctly, I closed last week's show by saying I would play Tales from the Borderlands this past weekend.
And you didn't do it.
We were packing for our move last weekend, and I packed up almost everything in this room, and then I realized I packed up my Tales from the Borderlands. And I didn't want to. I didn't want to open the box and dig it out. So here's my promise. The first stream where I play a game, like not podcast, the first stream I do from the new house will be Tales from the Borderlands. That is my solemn promise to you watching and listening at home.
The question
I know.
is, do we believe it? I messaged you and you didn't. Maybe you didn't get my Discord message.
No, I'm getting messages right now. I don't know if we've told you this. I'm very busy right now.
Okay.
I just haven't.
Well, Crispy's not here because he's playing D&D or something probably. But look, dude, I told you, I'll play Tales from the Borderlands if you watch Parasite. That way we kill two birds with one stone.
I mean,
Wait,
I
hasn't seen Parasite?
No, Crispy hasn't. Because I promised Crispy I would play Tales from the Borderlands.
Yeah,
I should have used that
I'll
as
play
leverage.
Tales from the Borderlands if you watch Parasite. We knock two embarrassing birds out with one stone.
How's it
Has
embarrassing
he
to
really
have
still not watched Parasite?
Yeah.
Guys, I bought it. I bought that. I don't know if y'all saw that Mondo screen print from Parasite today. I fucking bought that thing
that's
without hesitation. Great print. And Crispy still hasn't watched the movie.
Hey, do you know where that postcard is? I feel like that postcard is going to get lost in the move. Nick,
I will make sure that
hell?
Doesn't happen.
Nick,
I will make
just
sure
put it in the mailbox.
Okay, I promise you, Brad. It'll
literally
go in the mailbox.
The mail service is not even going to exist anymore by the time you take it to the mailbox.
Wow, how topical, Brad.
You do live like 20 minutes from his house.
What? Okay. It's also a postcard. You drive 20 minutes and pick it up and then drive 20 minutes to bring it to me.
I'll do it, bitch.
I will go. I think I know exactly where it is. I will go grab it during the break if you remind me. And then I will put it in the mailbox tomorrow.
I don't believe him. Let's
talk about let's talk about fucking video games, shall we? We haven't talked about anything new in a while. So, Nolan, we kind of jokingly said, the flavor of the week has passed, but we haven't talked about Fall Guys yet. I feel like it's something we should at least,
Yeah. I really do wish Crispy was here to talk about it because I know him and I think are the only two who are playing it.
But isn't his lack of a presence here like already a statement on his feelings about Fall Guys?
What if he's playing Fall Guys right now and that's why he's not here?
Somebody log into PSN and check right now.
No one's playing Fall Guys anymore.
That's a false.
That's not true.
I played like half an hour of it actually.
Yeah.
Great, you could talk about it.
I'm more online savvy than Nick.
But Nolan, how is Fall Guys going?
I mean,
how much have you played?
I have no fucking idea. PlayStation doesn't keep track of time. Today I got my either 30th or 31st win.
Nice.
Do with that what you will. I'm trying to see if Crispy's online playing it. It does look like his last online was 13 days ago apparently. But yeah, so I mean, Fall Guys is basically MXC or Takeshi's Castle with that's a little goofier.
I feel like these are two things that I should know, but I don't.
You definitely should, Nick.
You don't know MXC?
Guys,
Most Extreme Elimination Challenge.
You should learn this. Every week on this podcast, I will say something that will expose.
How about Wipeout? You know what Wipeout is, right?
There you go. Wipeout is definitely an American copy of MXC.
Okay.
Not the hovercraft racing game.
I know.
Okay.
Nick, you now have homework. Go on YouTube and just type MXC, and there are full episodes of it on there. And it is fucking delightful. It's essentially, don't get me wrong, it's a little, I don't know if that would fly. It 100% would not fly in the year 2000. But the actor, I always forget his name, something Takeshi.
Wait, in the year 2000?
Wait, it's Takeshi his first name. Sorry, 2020 is what I meant. Well, anyway, very famous actor. I always forget if it's Takeshi is his first or last name. I think it's his last name. A Japanese actor. Has been in many things. You've seen Battle Royale, I assume?
Yes.
The original one. He's like the guy who comes in and is like, hey, we're taking you to the fucking island. But anyway, they started a show in Japan in like the late 80s, early 90s, maybe, called Takeshi's Castle. And it was essentially just one winner of obstacle courses, people doing crazy stuff, trying to climb up mountains, and they're throwing like boulders down at you, like trying to go across a rope bridge, and they're shooting fucking like basketballs at you, basically, to try and knock you off. What the Americans did was they took this very good Japanese game show, and they completely dubbed it with like ridiculous over the top shit. Like the announcer's name is Guy Ledouche. And it's just it is very over the top and very like what is Brad, Chris, or Bernadette in chat, help me. There's always a one contestant with the fucking same name. Baba Ganoush, thank you.
There's always a Baba
Ganoush. Like, oh, here comes Baba Ganoush. And like they always make up like just random shit. And it's just, it would not fly in 2020 whatsoever. Very much not PC.
Racist as hell.
It is very fucking racist. But it's also fucking hilarious.
It is.
The core of the show itself is still good. Even if like they had translated it word for word, I'm sure the show would still be good. But yeah, very over the top. But essentially, they kind of made a game out of it. And there's been similar stuff before, that Doritos Crash Course, stuff like that. But this captures the actual 3D aspect of it. So the whole point is, the game starts with 60 people. The very first levels are very generally races. Try to get to the end. The first X number of people get to pass. This one, if you're watching the footage now, this one's tiptoe. So a bunch of the tiles on the thing are fake. You have to find the correct path to get to the exit. It seems easy, but the farther you go, the longer it's been since someone has stepped on a real tile, it starts to fade out. So you kind of have to remember the path, and it's very easy for someone will like bump into you and you get knocked off. And there's just
with this few people, it's kind of interesting.
Dude, yeah, this is actually one of the fewer ones. I think 6 is the minimum winners are people who pass of tiptoe I've ever seen. 6. But I think I lose. Yeah, I fucking.
Did you get eliminated at the very end?
Yeah, that can happen. It happens all the time. It also, what really sucks is you'll get close to the end, then you'll get bumped off, and then you know what? Oh well, you're out. You're done. But that's a very
vicious game, Nick. It's very vicious.
So yeah. Oh, I haven't even gotten to like the vicious part yet. But so now the footage will restart, and you'll see from the beginning that when it starts with 60 people, it's a fucking cluster. There are people ramming into each other, and there's this one mechanic in the game that they did not have to put in the game, but they definitely chose to put in the game, and it's the ability to grab someone. So if someone's like running or something, you can grab them and it stops them in their tracks. Be that if you're trying to slow them down, be that if they're about to make a jump over a gap and you grab them real quick and then let go, it slows their momentum just enough to where they just fall. Butters, chill, please. I'm talking about games. And so it becomes fucking vicious. And don't get me wrong, when I first started playing the game, anybody who touched me, don't fucking touch me, you son of a bitch, you're fucking me up. But now I fucking grab people all the time. I will throw people off cliffs. I have become now. Well, no, it's one of those things where at first, yes, it's annoying, but then it gets to the point where it's like, well, you know what? I've gotten a few wins. It's not as like dire that I have to be first place every single time I play. So a lot of the time I'll just kind of be like, hey, let me like earlier today when I was playing before the stream, before the podcast, I was like, we were doing, I'm trying to remember the level it was. I can't remember.
How many different games, like separate
Oh,
games
there's
are there?
9 or 10. And they've already announced the season 2 with a bunch more.
Yeah, that's what a
coming out
lot of
soon.
people were like waiting desperately for during that stream from Gamescom, right?
Yeah, oh, definitely. That was the fucking highlight people were waiting for, and they waited till almost the very end. But so, it's this one part where you're kind of going up a ramp, and then you have to make a jump to these spinning discs. Thank you. No, not rollout. That's a different one. I'll talk about that one. But I was like, hey, Brenna, you want to say something funny? And she's like, okay. And like right before this other guy got to the top, I just grabbed him real quick. When he falls, fucking hilarious. Rollout is another one that I have killed people on. Sorry, killed beans. Let's specify that multiple times. Rollout is essentially this giant set of.
Is that what these are supposed to be? Beans?
Yeah, they're beans. Hit Parade, thank you. Hit Parade was the one where I murdered the bean. No, it wasn't Hit Parade. I don't know, whatever. So Rollout is one where there's a bunch of rollers and they go in opposite directions, kind of in sequence. But every once in a while there'll be like a gap or something that blocks you, and you have to switch to another roller. So you don't. If you just stand still, eventually you're going to roll off. That one is. Dude, it is, and it's also very easy to kill.
I mean, isn't that kind of the point of this game? Is everything is a clusterfuck?
Well,
right?
Some are more clusterfucks than others.
Yeah, so, some are definitely more clusterfucks. Some of them are simpler.
It's very self-aware of the fact that like the whole like what makes it fun and what makes it so popular is because everything is chaos.
Yeah, I mean, I think what makes it chaos is, or what makes it fun is winning, definitely, I will say. And if you can take someone out on the side, why not? This Perfect Match is the game I'm playing right now in the footage. That one is very easy in the last section of it to fake people out. What I'll do is Perfect Match is the first is very simple. It just shows 2 different like fruit. And so either like in this footage, it's about to pop up. But so the answer is either apple or banana. And after 13 seconds, it'll show something on the big screen and you have to stand on that fruit. And if you're not on that fruit, the other platform disappears. Sometimes I will often make people think that this platform I'm standing on is the correct one. Because often what happens is people will run to a certain platform because they think that's the right one. And other people are like, oh, I don't know, I'm going to go with the crowd. And multiple times I've kind of juked people out into thinking that this is the correct one.
And do you jump off at the last second?
Oh yeah, last second you jump off and they die. I actually tweeted a footage of a pretty funny one where it literally knocked out like 16 people because I guess they just went like 1 or 2 people ran to the wrong one. And other people saw that and they're like, oh, this must be the correct one. And so they all followed and fucking like over half the people got knocked out. It was pretty funny.
That's good. That's good.
But dude, yeah. So I think there's also team-based levels, which are fun. They are either amazing or they are horrible because I often feel like I get stuck with like 4-year-olds. I'm like, what is my teammate doing? They are doing the dumbest thing possible. There's one where, you have to just like roll a ball down a hill, past some obstacles and get it to the end. Oh, well, this might've been that footage where like everyone died.
It certainly looked like it.
There you go. So I didn't even realize this was that footage, but there you go. So yeah, that can happen. And
Vang in chat would like you to know that it's like GTA. You are in fact playing with children.
Oh no, I know I am, especially because I'm on PlayStation Plus and it's free on PlayStation Plus, and so I'm sure every kid out there is playing it. But what often happens is it's just like there are ones where the team work is less important. Like rolling the ball down the hill is not that bad, but fall ball is the one you're about to see. Fall ball, it's football, or soccer. You have to have teamwork. You have to. If everyone is on the opposing team side trying to score a goal and no one's defending your goal, that doesn't work.
Yeah.
And so, I often find myself being like, all right, fine. Even though I think I'm better at scoring goals than you, I will hang out in the back because we have to have someone defend.
Do you communicate with other people in the game?
No.
With like a headset?
There's
no way to really coordinate.
So you can set up a team of up to 4 people. And generally, if you do a team-based event, it'll put you on the same team. But there's no way to talk to these random people.
Well, Vang says you can
So
chat with people in your party, right? So
well, yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like if you start a party and you invite people to it, then yeah, like me and Crispy played some the other day. You can definitely chat with them, and
This
if you
isn't
get
the
put
type
on
of
a
game that you want a voiceover channel for. You don't want that in this.
it would get pretty clustery because the problem is, Nick, this is, you see this and it's like, oh, 6v6 or something like that. But there are like earlier team games where it's like a team might be like 30 people. Or
Yeah.
not 30, like maybe like
I mean,
15, 20 people.
This particular minigame in general is the only one I've seen so far that seems like it could benefit from, communication.
Oh yeah, no,
because there's six
it
people
definitely
and
would.
you're playing soccer basically.
It's any kind of event where you need to essentially say, like, there's another one that's, I think, hoarders or something like that, where it's similar. There's balls and you just want to have them in your section. As long as you have at least one more ball than another team, that's usually a 3-team game. As long as you have one more ball than the next team, you don't get eliminated. And there are often times where I like get so frustrated because I'll see my teammates like, oh, good, we're up. We have 3 balls and the other team only has 2, but they'll try and go get another one. And I'm like, no. Don't, we just keep the ones we have. We don't need to have every single ball. To win this game, you just have to have one more. And it's very frustrating when there's that lack of communication to be like, dude, fucking like stop. Like stay over here. Defending is 100% easier than trying to steal a ball from someone else. And so, yeah, I often know that. And that's like kind of one of the frustrating things for me is there's like an achievement for winning 5 in a row. Like I know some people have done it, but I just don't think I ever will, because I always seem to get put on teams with like the worst players. And I'm like, there's no way I'm going to be able to win 5 times in a row, because inevitably I end up going on a team game where my teammates suck. But anyway, all these different challenges, working your way towards the end, and then there's 3 different potential final levels. 3 or 4? 3. 4. There's 4 different potential final levels. So at this point, I think, yeah, we're down to 5 people. It's going to the final next. So the finals are either Fall Mountain, which is just literally everyone tries to climb a mountain, and at the top of it is a crown, and the first person to touch the crown wins. One of them is like Royal Fumble, which is this one, and I fucking hate it. It is the worst thing in the goddamn world, because this is what shows you lag. Because the whole point of this one is one person has a tail, everyone else tries to steal it from that person. And there is so often that someone seems to grab my tail from 30 feet away from me, and I'm like, what the fuck? But I know it's just a lag issue. What's up, Brad?
I was just gonna say, is that like a netcode issue or something, like with this
Yeah,
particular
that's
game?
definitely part of it. It's just, when the person looks like they're 30 feet away from me on their screen, they're probably right next to me, and it just, lag was on my end and I didn't see. But another one is Hexagon, which I either love or hate. I have a very much love-hate relationship with Hexagon. And if you remember from like when you were a kid, there was like a game with like penguins on like ice cubes or whatever that were like, and you had to knock them out or whatever. The whole concept is there's a bunch of hexagons on like a platform, and when you stand on a platform, a hexagon, after a second it falls away. You have to constantly be moving, and there's like, I don't know, 7 layers, and every time you touch a layer, if you fall down to the next layer and the next layer and the next layer. Break the ice. Thank you, King Kier. That's what I was trying to think of. But the whole concept behind that is you can either play it the slow game or the fast game. You can try and go as slow as you can, just jumping from 1 to 1 to elongate your time. Or you can run around
the
really
last
fast.
person standing.
Exactly. The last person who either
doesn't
falls
fall
or
through.
Exactly. And so at first I did play it very conservatively, but now I've kind of switched up my strategy. Now I play it a little more offensively. I run a lot, and sometimes I'll purposely drop down to the next layer to eliminate more places for the people above me to fall, so it increases their chances of falling past me. And there's all this kind of back and forth. And then the other one is Jump Club, and it's essentially, there are these 2 like poles that spin at different speeds, and you kind of have to jump between them without getting knocked off as platforms fall. I don't know. It's
I don't know.
definitely a
I've
fun
never
game.
played that, but I feel like I would hate that. Here's my question: Is Fall Guys like the 2020s like You've called it the flavor of the week, but is this basically like the Fortnite of 2020, or
it's definitely not the Fortnite of
Fortnite
2020.
No,
It's definitely not. I think
you,
it does.
You can't
depend.
be a Fortnite of a year. Does that make sense?
Fortnite is the Fortnite of every year.
yeah?
Fall Mountain
trying to think
is
of a
my
better
favorite.
example.
Vangam in chat says everything's better in Fall Mountain. I honestly, out of all of my wins, probably a good 2/3 of them are on Fall Mountain. I have Fall Mountain fucking down packed. Like like it. Not 8 out of 10 times I will win on Fall Mountain.
Which
Royal
one's that
Fumble is a piece of shit. That's the one where you literally just running up the mountain. There's these like barricades in your way, balls. That's the other thing, Nick. Balls, you get hit in the face by balls all the time.
Tell me about the balls hitting me in the face.
There are so many levels that they will just like launch balls kind of in a random array. So they don't always land in the same spot. And if you get hit, you get knocked over. And so the whole point is you have to avoid getting hit in the face by balls. Like I said, definitely taking inspiration from Takeshi's Castle. But that's kind of part of it. They try and do the other. There's one called Fruit Shoot, and Fruit Shoot is literally everyone is on a platform, like a conveyor belt that is rolling downhill. So even though you're running, you're going pretty slow because you're fighting against a conveyor belt, and they're just launching fruit at you. So there's like strawberries and oranges, but then there's like a banana, and obviously bananas don't just roll; they fucking tumble in weird directions. And watermelons, exactly. And so it's kind of all about trying to like avoid fruit, but also like avoid other people, because if you bump into other people, it slows you. I don't know. It's definitely a fun game, and it's worth checking out. It's free on PlayStation Plus.
I did download it.
Yeah, most people have it, so it's definitely worth checking out. It's fun. I guarantee you, it's probably more fun with other people, like friends, than it is just by yourself. But no matter what, it's still like a fun game. It's frustrating as fuck. There's like a meme of like, I think it's like Larry David, probably from like Curb Your Enthusiasm, and he's like I hate you all, I'll see you tomorrow. And that's how I feel like every time I play this game, that I'm like, fuck this game, I'll play it more tomorrow.
I mean,
like every time.
It looks even if it's frustrating, because like you said, I mean, it's a lot of these games are like utter chaos, and it's about sabotage and everything, which is great. But it's also looks just kind of delightful.
Oh, it
like,
is. And
it's so bright and happy.
Oh yeah, and the thing is, you'll see all the beans are dressed differently. They have all kinds of, and once again, I mean, there is, and Crispy bought some. You can buy outfits and stuff like that. I haven't spent any money on this game yet. I don't know if I ever will. One of the things you can do is you can, the more you play, when you level up, or sorry, every time you essentially don't get eliminated, you earn, I think, kudos or coins. I can't remember which one is which. One of them is like an experience that helps you level up, and when you level up, you unlock like different colors for your guy or different patterns. And then
the things that you actually pay for are probably like legit like costumes. Like
no, you can get costumes for in-game currency that you get for just playing the game. I got Rocket from Hotline Miami. Like the rooster. It's like the rooster head and like a bomber jacket. And I paid 5 crowns for that. Crowns you get for winning. Every time you win one of the final levels, you get a crown. And so obviously those ones are, I don't want to say rare, but they're definitely a little more rare. You have to, if you don't have wins, you can't get those. There's no way to buy crowns. You can only buy like the coins, and coins will let you unlock little. You have little emotes you can do. You can do little like you can do like a little snap. You can do like a little dance. But yeah, so you can unlock different outfits and stuff like that. Since this is Devolver Digital, they have like a bullet from Enter the Gungeon. They have a bunch of different, some of their other, I can't remember all of them.
A lot of cross promotion with their other stuff.
Just today unlocked or released a shell from Portal outfit. They also have like a Peabody or like a little turret from Portal. So they're unlocking other stuff, and they're definitely like looking out to other companies to maybe do like crossover promotions. Like that's definitely happening.
This is reminding me a lot of, oh my god, why am I not able to think of the name? The
Takeshi's Castle.
No, the Rocket, the fucking
Rocket League
soccer with Rocket League.
Rocket League.
I don't know why.
No, it's definitely similar to that.
Is this the Rocket League of 2020? Is that a better?
Maybe.
That might be a
Yes.
better. Yes.
That's definitely
Okay.
a better analogy. But
All
yeah,
right.
so
Cool.
how long will this stick around? It depends. Like I said, they've already announced a season 2 with new levels and new types. Apparently, some of the new stuff they announced has like, instead of just going from point A to point B like you see on this level trying to get across, they have like, you can't. There's like a cliff face you can't climb up, so you have to move boxes. So there might be, even though you're competing against other people, a little more teamwork, because even though only one of you might cross the finish line, you kind of maybe have to work together to like get up this box to get to the end. But yeah, so I don't know. It's definitely a fun game. I would definitely recommend anybody check it out, especially if you have PlayStation Plus. It's not going to be free on PlayStation Plus forever.
Maybe this would be actually, because I think somebody pointed this out in chat a minute ago. It's September now, so I don't think it's free anymore.
Oh,
I think
really?
It was part of, I think it was part of the PlayStation Plus deal in August. And since
okay,
it's September, I don't think it's free. I could be wrong, or the person in chat could be wrong. I don't know, but it makes sense to me.
But either way, it's $20.
Yeah.
I mean, so that's what I wanted to say. I don't know if this game is worth $20. Maybe after the season 2 DLC. I don't know, because the only thing is, it depends on how much you like the game. If you end up like not being the hugest fan of it, which you can't really tell until you play it, maybe it's not worth $20. Maybe it's worth like $10.
Isn't
I don't know.
that true of most video games, though?
Yeah. So Chai did confirm the game is no longer free. So sorry for everyone who didn't pick it up.
You're a liar, Nolan. You're a liar and a fraud. I'm just kidding. Let's move on. This looks cool though. And I was thinking, because we were talking this before the show, and I'm all like stressed out because of the move and everything, and I'm not really in the mood to start anything crazy or new. Maybe this would be like the perfect just chill game to play this weekend.
No, it's not chill.
It's definitely not a chill game. So it depends on your attitude and your mood at the time. So what I'm going to say, Nick, maybe this weekend, knock back a couple beers, and then boot up the game in like a team mode, like playing with other people, and then maybe you can have some fun.
Okay.
I would be willing
this weekend.
Nick, I will play with you, and I will block as many people as I can to help you cross that finish line. Cool. I will take an L to help you get across that finish line.
I don't know. Oh, I see. Okay, I got it. Yeah,
a single L though.
Just one.
No, I'll take a couple. I have 30 wins, Chris Davis. I'm doing okay.
Yeah, but you could have 31 wins.
That's true.
All right, Bradley.
What's up?
Video games.
Yeah,
You've got some to talk about.
I have one to talk. I mean, I have several to talk about, but I only decided to bring one to the.
And honestly, the game that you're bringing to the table this week, I'm kind of surprised about. You seemed pretty. I mean, I'm surprised because you seemed like, we've kind of mentioned this game in passing for the past few weeks, and you seemed kind of down on it, or like,
I'm not down on it, just very like apathetic.
Okay. So what convinced you to play Wasteland 3?
I think everybody was kind of apathetic about this game, right?
I mean, honestly,
Wasteland 2 was like a big Kickstarter success, and it came out and like it was all right, but I feel like a lot of people were just kind of like, by the time it actually
in my head, I was still thinking this
out,
was Wasteland 2.
Okay, well, you're just grossly
I feel like that game never actually came out, and this was finally releasing. That's what.
All right, Nick. Okay, buddy. Listen, this has actually been in development for quite some time. Actually, Wasteland 2 came out like fucking ages ago. At this point, probably
about 5 years ago. At this point,
yeah. I mean, it's been a long fucking time, and this one was pretty much announced right away. In fact, I mean, the Kickstarter for this was this one a Kickstarter? I don't know if it was actually.
Did
we lose Nick?
So? No, he's still here.
I don't know if this one was a Kickstarter, but In Exile, the developer, has they kickstarted Wasteland 2. That was successful. It came out and it was all right. I kind of fell off of it, honestly.
So that's what I wanted to bring
up to me.
So that's what I wanted to bring up, Brad. Is when Wasteland 2 first came out, I was like super excited for it. I fell off it super quick. I did not care for it.
Me too.
I thought it was boring.
So yeah, that's the thing. I thought it was a little boring
which is why when Wasteland 3 was coming out, I had no interest in it.
Agreed. So the Wasteland series is sort of the spiritual predecessor to classic Fallout. It's what those people went on to make after before they went on to make Fallout, was Wasteland. Wasteland 2 was a Kickstarter success. That one came out. It was okay. Some people liked it. But the thing is, by the time it came out, around that time, like Pillars of Eternity was coming out, Divinity Original Sin was coming out, and those were getting a lot like better buzz, I think. Obsidian and Larian were just making a more polished game than I think Wasteland 2 was. I remember Wasteland 2 being kind of buggy. But one of the things that was compelling about it was that, to me, it was, the turn-based combat system that was kind of like XCOM, right? I really like XCOM. And this is sort of Fallout with XCOM combat. What?
Did you name that character, Nick?
I know you're moving into a new house, but like,
what?
Nick, I've been tweeting about this game and everything.
I have not been on Twitter.
Dude, check my Twitter. Like, real quick, you should check my Twitter.
Okay.
You
devious son of a bitch.
Hold on, let me actually.
I really don't want to look, but now I have to.
How have y'all? I've seen Brad's Twitter.
Yeah, they're
I follow you, Brad.
So
I would normally be privy to all this.
So I wasn't actually all that excited going into this because, like I fell off that first one. It was kind of buggy, kind of boring. Kind of buggy, kind of boring, right? And but when this game finally came out, and it wasn't until it came out did I start to see that the buzz was actually like quite positive for this one, right? And we're already in combat, so look, I get stuck in a combat encounter that I'm like way not ready for, and it's like this whole fucking video of me just getting trounced.
Cool.
Like, I didn't want it to be that. At the very start, you see one of the big differences in this one versus the previous game, and let me explain those differences because it might be why someone might want to try this game. Outside of the fact that it's reviewing really well, the buzz is really positive. Which again, surprising a little to me. One of them is that you have this big vehicle now, right? And this vehicle, you actually like use it, you drive it around like a world map. And in the last game, Wasteland 2, it was very much like the original Fallout. You sort of move from point to point on a map, occasionally getting into random encounters. Now you're actually like driving this vehicle around the map, like finding like locations and stuff, like listening to the radio that way, which is like really cool. But then when you go into an encounter, like right off the map or on the map, you have like the vehicle with you, and the vehicle's like really fucking powerful, and you can like customize it and upgrade it, and like literally you can drive this vehicle up into this combat encounter and just start wrecking shit, which I do here. And I don't it's like my first time like really using this in combat, and they all just like focus fire on it and like shut it the fuck down. And I'm like, oh, well, I didn't think that could happen.
So Wasteland 3 is predominantly takes place in what? Isn't it like Colorado? So it's like
Colorado,
super snowy.
Yeah, very snowy.
So the vehicle that you're talking about is just like plows is for like driving through like heavy snow and stuff. But it's almost like a tank.
Yeah.
You upgrade that throughout the game.
You upgrade, weapons and armor and like different. I mean, I'm not super far in this game. I'm only a few hours. I'd probably be further if not for one specific reason, which I'll get to later. So that's one of the big new things, right? I saw that and I'm like, oh, that seems cool, right? You got this vehicle, you're driving around a place now instead of just picking places off of a map, and it can join you in combat. It's like Valkyria Chronicles' tank, right? So already like this seems more interesting, right? The combat is still very similar. It's like this XCOM style combat, but a little jankier, right? A little less polished, a little less flashy, but XCOM combat is still really good. And I think like the last game, this game still has like a lot of really compelling like options for how you customize your character and like loot and weapon types and perks and quirks and all that shit, right? Like you can make some really cool characters, and you end up making your own 4 characters in the game. And then the other 2 spots are filled up with companions you find in the world. But because you're making like 4 different Fallout characters at once, like you really sort of get it leads you to doing like really experimental shit, right? Like when you play like a Fallout game, like a modern Fallout game, you're kind of just like, oh, well, I'll go like fucking small guns or something, maybe, be really accurate, and like maybe I'll get some lock picking or some hacking or whatever. But here, like I have a dude who's just going to be a dedicated like flamethrower dude, which is not something you would do. You wouldn't like focus on. I mean, that's something you maybe do in like a third playthrough of a Fallout game. But now since you have a party
Unless
of
Chris Davis.
Well, yeah. But now since you have a party of 6 characters, you can get more experimental, and I find that stuff really fun. And building of the characters has been really fun too, because there's like some cool like perks and quirks and stuff. And I think it was in the last one where one of the quirks you can pick is called Circus Freak, and it gives you like it gives you some bonus, right? Some passive bonus that honestly could be quite significant. I can't remember specifically what it is, but but if you choose that, you have to look like a clown. You can't not look like a clown. I think they had that in the last game, but now they have one called Mime, which Mime's really good because your detection, like there's sort of a period before turn-based combat where you're kind of in real time and you could see like sort of the rings of, you can kind of like sneak around the battlefield and set up a little bit. It's kind of like that game, where you're like the pig and the duck or whatever that came out last year or 2 years ago. Mutant Year Zero.
Year Zero, yeah.
Where it's sort of like,
by the way, they're apparently making a movie about. Like, what the fuck?
I don't know. So, but that was a comic before. Okay, so you know how that game was real time stealth until you got into combat. This game's kind of like that too. And I think if you pick the Mime, your detection meter, like it's harder for them to detect you because you're like a mime or whatever, right? But if you pick that, you have to look like a mime, and you're like a mime and with like a tutu and everything.
Well, hold on,
which is hilarious in this world.
Can you create your own cover?
Oh,
can you just like? That would be fucking amazing if you could.
It's not like a job class; it's just a quirk. But it's funny because
that's a missed opportunity is what that is.
Well, so what I'm gathering is that this game, and this is the second like positive, the second thing that I guess separates it a little bit from like Wasteland 2 for me, at least from what I've played of Wasteland 2, is that the game is like taking itself a little less seriously, and it seems a lot more like fun and zany and less brown in general, right? There's a lot of like weird colors. Like this area
2 was so bland looking.
This area that I'm assaulting, I don't know if you saw it when I was driving around the map, but I was driving around the world map. I just saw like a circus tent, like in the world, like fucking Killer Clowns from Outer Space style. I was like, oh, I'll go check this out, and it's like the Clown Museum, and I go in there, and all these dudes are like, they're like a faction or a cult or whatever, and they're like, we worship the joke or whatever. I didn't know what was going in because I was a little in over my head, and I got my ass kicked by these clowns, but like that, it seems kind of like kookier, right? Like they're really leaning into this stuff. Which I think
that also kind of when Fallout is at its best, right? When it's not taking itself.
Yeah, but even like seriously. Even like the modern like Bethesda Fallout games, they have this feels like when you play a Fallout game and you have like the Wild Wasteland thing turned on, but even that's like turned up even more. You know, the Wild Wasteland, what is that? What it's called? Like perk?
Quirk, where the dude shows up and randomly.
No, not that one. The one from like New Vegas, where like if you turn it on, like weird shit starts to happen.
Like, like real crazy weird things go on. Yeah. Like
this game maybe feels like kind of like that with that on. You know what I mean? Where
Nick, you're thinking of like The Stranger or something.
Yeah, like that. You're thinking of The Stranger. You're thinking of The Stranger. The other thing that that I think is really kind of helping me get over what I thought was kind of boredom in like Wasteland 2. So it's more colorful. You got this cool new world map. You got this vehicle and stuff. But like also like, I don't know if it's because they were bought by Microsoft. In Exile is the developer. I don't think it is, because this game is still published by Deep Silver. But this game, unlike the last game, is 100% voice acted. Like every line is voice acted, and the voice acting is really good. So I think that's drawing me in more as well, because you got like sort of this kookier, you got these kookier characters and like companions and stuff that seem really well developed, but now it's all backed by like really strong voice acting, and there's just a lot of it.
Fun voice acting, I would imagine too.
Yeah, like, cool fun voice acting. Like the at the very and there's even like during like story sequences, or I guess when you meet major characters, where you kind of like zoom in to talk to someone, which they didn't do in the last game. And it doesn't happen like all the time here. I think they have to be like a major like story character, but it'll do like a close-up style conversation. The kind of thing that, Baldur's Gate 3 is doing all the time now, but here it's pretty rare. But you could tell that they're grasping at trying to do like a bigger budget one of these CRPGs. I mean, it's not quite Larian, right? It's not even maybe like Pillars of Eternity, but it's I like that they're trying to make this a little more of a bigger budget thing, even though it really can't compete. Like honestly, this thing is like this game's a lot jankier than something like Original Sin like 2 especially. It's such an elegant, like beautiful CRPG. This game is not that. Honestly, a lot of the time this game looks like shit, but at the same time, I was able to make a character that was 2 foot tall, you know? And that's great. And I named him Nick, and he's really little.
So
I
like
don't know.
life size.
I don't know if he's supposed to be a child, but even it's not like a child. It's just a little person. I mean, he's like proportionately just smaller. He's very tiny, and you know, and he's a shotgunner, and it feels cool.
Right. It just feels right. Is that?
It feels right. Like, here's the thing: I never play as dudes in a game, ever. I always play as ladies. If there's a dude companion in a game, not in my party, right? I make ladies, I roll with ladies, and that's it. But here I'm playing Brad and Nick because the character creator let me make a dude who's like 8 foot tall and a dude who's 2 foot tall, and it just feels right.
It's
perfect. So I mean, I'm really enjoying
fine.
this game, and it's challenging, and like that there seems to be like real consequences to your actions. In fact, I'm gonna save it for my 4-player minute because it's sort of my fuck you for the week. But you can really fuck some stuff up and like not get companions and stuff, which is like a kind of a strength of the game in most cases, but maybe in this one case it's not a strength, which I'll get to later. But all in all, you know, I'm only a few hours into this, but I'm finding it like, you know, strangely compelling, and I'm really kind of absorbed into this game, unlike I was, you know, the last game. So
Brad,
it's on Game Pass. It's on Game Pass. So
is that how you're playing it?
Yeah, PC Game Pass, dude. Like this was a crazy month or whatever. Not only did this come out, but like Crusader Kings 3 just came out, and that's on PC Game Pass. There's a lot of good stuff hitting Game Pass right now. You know, honestly, I don't really open Steam between free games on Epic and like all the stuff for Game Pass. I'm not opening up Steam that much these days, which is kind of cool, kind of exciting, right? Finally, some competition in the PC gaming space, and
Brad,
we benefit, you know.
I really feel like they missed a great opportunity in this game to have the Mime character just do some of the like there's another, you know, XCOM style games, there's abilities like to pull people out of cover, and could you imagine like a Mime like miming a lasso and pulling a fucking enemy out of cover?
I like it.
No, that's amazing. It's not this game, but that's
when
amazing.
he goes to shoot a gun, like he's not holding anything, he's just like and all of a sudden the enemy's just like you know, like fucking I can imagine him having a special ability that ends his turn, but he can put a glass case around him and other people can use it as cover. Like so many great things you could do with a Mime.
You're right.
The funny thing is,
that's a different game, but it's a great fucking idea. It's a great fucking idea. They should make an XCOM game with crazy classes.
Dude, they should just make any game where the main character is a mime and all the abilities are built around it like that. Like,
dude,
I would
it would be so much easier to develop because you don't
actually
have to worry about clipping like animations for stuff. Like if they throw a grenade, you don't have to fucking like have a physical grenade. You just make a sound clink clink and then an explosion. Like,
oh my god, dude, make a character action game where you play as a fucking mime. It would be amazing. That's all I'm saying. Anyways, all right, real quick before we get back to Nolan, because Nolan had another game we wanted to talk about. This is not a game that we're going to talk much about this week, and I think maybe we'll revisit it on our next show. Chris Davis played all the way through the DLC for Control. I started it last night, and I just wanted to make sure we mentioned it, because it's a crossover with Alan Wake.
Yes,
they've been very, very forward about this idea. It's not spoiling anything. And it's kind of the first it's the first taste of this concept that they said they're officially starting to like build a Remedy verse or a Remedy universe where all these things take place in the same thing. And I started it last night. I'm only like an hour into it. But like even in those opening moments of that DLC where you first see Alan Wake and you first have these moments where he like narrates something just like he did in the original game, it's fucking magical. Yes. And it's for someone like me who loves Alan Wake, it is so nostalgic, and it's also like the perfect, like, Alan Wake makes total sense in the world of Control. It's such a cool way to start this crossover, like to start building this bigger universe. I don't know where this is going to go. I want to have a bigger conversation with us on the podcast, especially with Chris Davis after I've had a chance to finish it myself. Just Chris Davis, can you give me just a reading? What's all said and done? Am I going to like it? Am I going to love it?
Oh, you, especially at the very end, you are really going to enjoy it.
Am I going to just be,
So
over the moon?
The thing
Okay.
about part of this DLC, I'm not going to spoil it. There is a monster. There is a monster loose somewhere in the oldest house.
Sounds like you spoiled it.
Yeah, sounds like...
But I'm not going to tell you about the monster. I'm not going to tell you who he is, whatever.
I have a feeling you're absolutely about to do that.
But what they
the monster's name is definitely not Alan Wake.
But what they do with the monster and how they build him up really feels like Alan Wake 1.
Alan
It's
Wake.
really good.
Awesome. That's all I need to know because like I'm only an hour in. I'm kind of glad. I was originally planning on maybe streaming this the other night. I ended up going back to Bully for my stream. But I'm glad I didn't stream it because I played it for an hour and I spent the first like 30 minutes like reading notes.
The notes are really good too.
I know that's going to like really turn Brad off. And at this point, I don't even think at this point, if you haven't played Control, what are the chances you're going to anyways, Brad?
Well, how about when it comes out on a console that actually runs it okay?
Fair enough.
It's going to come out on a console that runs it really okay in the next 3 months.
But all I'm saying is
it's really, oh my god, the notes. I wish we could talk about the notes in like a spoiler cast.
Here's the thing, and Brad's talked about this, about how if he played Control, he would skip the notes. And if that's the way you're gonna play it, I almost feel like it's not even worth you playing because you'd be missing out on.
Well, then it's not a good game.
Well, no, I mean, maybe in your eyes, but I'm just saying, like, so much of the like coolest like details and lore bits are hidden in those notes. And I know you hate notes, but like they make sense in the context of the world. And there's just so much cool shit that you'd just be completely missing out on.
Wasteland 3 has fully voiced audio logs.
They set up such really nice kind of like integration between Control and the Alan Wake universes.
I'm very early on. It's very impressive and it's very exciting as an Alan Wake fan. So, like I said, I just wanted to briefly mention it. We'll talk about it. We'll have a bigger discussion on it maybe on the next show when I've had a chance to finish it as well. But I think we have one more game to talk about maybe 2 games from Nolan.
Mm-hmm.
What do you got?
Games. Which one do you want to hear about first? The
Rogue Legacy.
Okay. Rogue Legacy.
I only said that because that's the one I remembered.
Okay, that's fine. Everyone knows Rogue Legacy. It's an amazing game. Anyone who's played it knows how great of a fucking game it is. They're making a second one. They released if you like pre-ordered the game, you got early access. And it was cheaper too. I think the game's going to be like $30 or something, but if you pre-ordered it, you got it for like 20. And access to the early access. So I'm probably kind of done playing it. I've gotten some good feeling for it, but I'm probably going to call it done until they either significantly update it more, or I might just wait for it to come out. I just kind of wanted to see what this game was all about in its current stage. So it is very much
stage. The animation is lovely.
Dude, yeah, no, I will say, like, this could be a final version of a game. Obviously, it's missing. It only has a single area. So I mean, or actually, I think there is a second area. There is a second area, but it's like I think they kind of artificially made it significantly harder, just to kind of like slow people down. And they're constantly like coming out with new stuff. I think in like a couple of weeks, they're coming out with like more content. But yeah, it is very much like the original game.
Real quick, remind me, is this because you just commented on the art style? I can't remember. Is the first game look like this? Because this is really crisp looking.
The first new art style. It's a completely new art style. Yeah, it looks similar. I do like how this one works. It has a more artistic flair to it than the first one did. The music is still great. What's their name?
Stellar
No, A Shell in the Pit is the band who did all the music for the first one. They're back. Music is fantastic. And similar to the first one, I mean, if you know, I'll briefly describe how Rogue Legacy works. You are a kind of an adventurer. You go into a castle. You try and defeat the final boss of an area, and then when you die, one of your descendants is who takes up your mantle, and they try and go in after you. Similar to the first game, every descendant kind of has a different set of traits, some of them good, some of them bad. They definitely added new traits in this one that weren't in the original one. Some of the original ones are still there, like gigantism and dwarfism, but they definitely added new ones that are really fucking annoying, to the point where, like, they don't kind of tell you what it is at first, so you have to like play it first to see what the actual attribute does. But there have been a couple where I've just immediately killed myself because I am not playing it like this. Similar to the first game, they have the one where the entire like castle is inverted. Sorry, not the castle, like the gameplay. So just take this footage, Chris Davis, and flip it upside down,
Unplayable.
and that's what you see. Yeah, dude, it is
What?
ridiculously unplayable.
No.
It is horrible.
Why would
the
they
thing
do
is,
that?
Because that's the fun of Rogue Legacy.
yeah, that's supposed to. So I don't know if it was like this in the first one, but in this one, you get more money there are certain attributes that if you take that attribute because it is a hindrance, you actually get a higher coin count by, like, I don't know, like 20 or 30% increase
Straight
in
off,
coin
yeah.
drops. So yeah, so you do get more. One of the things that was also in the original game that's in this one is kind of like nearsightedness. Where everything outside of your vision is like super blurry. Well, in this one, they made it even worse, where it's like there's almost like everything outside of like 10 feet in front of you is just black, which isn't horrible unless you're playing an archer. And archer is a new class in this game, and you're basically useless because the whole point is you're not as strong, but you can shoot arrows from far away. But if you can't see where you're shooting the fucking arrow, there's no point. So it's like there's no point in taking an archer who has that handicap. But yeah, it's very similar to the first game in all those. They've added a few new things. One of them is the ability. They always kind of had like a downward thrust in the first game, but this one really comes into play for like platforming and stuff like that. You will have to downward thrust on certain objects to get to certain like heights or something like that, and maybe that object you hit disappears. So if you fuck up one of them, like, you don't get to a treasure chest that's higher up or something like that.
Yeah.
They've kind of changed how abilities work. Brad, you'll remember in the first game there were runes that gave you certain abilities, like a dash or like a double jump or stuff like that. So you no longer like find that rune and then get that ability. Now you actually have to complete a challenge in the world, and as soon as you complete that challenge, you kind of permanently get that upgrade. So like, you see me doing the dash, I permanently have the dash. It's not something I have to necessarily equip. It's just I have that now. They've kind of removed that. In the first game, there was like armor and weapons, those like kind of ability stuff, and then runes for like like increasing your health or like giving you vampirism, so you can like every time you do damage to an enemy, you get some health back. They've kind of separated those. A big problem I have with the dash. Brad, do you remember how the dash worked in the OG game?
I mean, just like a straight air dash, right?
Yeah, if you right trigger, you go to the right, you left trigger, you go to the left. That's not how it works in this game. It's whatever direction you're facing, the dash goes. And I don't like that. I really don't. I love the ability. If I wanted to go left, I did left trigger. If I wanted to go right, I did right trigger. But now you kind of have to push in a direction and then do your dash.
Maybe I'm just forgetting. I mean, it sounds to me like Rogue Legacy 1 in the way it handled its dash was very different than how like 90% of games handle dashes in this kind
I feel like most do it the way Nolan is describing this.
Yeah, most games will be like, hey, unless that trigger has some other dedicated functionality, generally when you press a trigger in a direction, that's the direction you dash. Like, isn't that how like a Bloodstain work? Like you can dash.
I never really did much dashing in Bloodstained.
Okay, well, anyway, it's frustrating, and I really hope I provided some developer feedback, and I hope they change it. Because,
you heard it here first. If they change it back, it's all thanks to Nolan.
Yeah. But yeah, and so to that regard, to fight the first boss, you can't just go and fight him. When you find the entry to his like lair, you have to have that dash, because there's two like kind of pillars outside the throne room that you have to hit both in quick succession, and without that dash you can't get to it. So it's kind of a way of like gatekeeping you, like, hey, if you can't defeat this dash challenge thing to unlock it, you probably shouldn't be trying to fight the boss. But yeah, I mean, I don't know what else to say. It's one of those things where the game's still in early access. That's a new ability. It's almost like a big like burst of energy across the screen. Like I said, they've added a bunch of new abilities, a bunch of new some, like I said, some new classes. I'm playing as like the warrior. They've changed him up a bit. If you're standing still and you swing your axe, it does a lot of damage. But if you jump in the air and swing it, you do like a spinning swing. Each successive hit does less damage, but you can get more hits in quicker. Every kind of class has that trade-off.
Do we know what this is interesting looking? Do we know what the because it's early access right now, right? So do they have like an estimated like?
I don't know if they do.
I mean, I don't think it's going to be this year. This seems like this seems so. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, right? Their last game was sort of a huge fucking flop. So I imagine that the reason this is even in early access is just to like kind of keep this project going.
Probably
is what I imagine.
I don't see a release date.
What was the last game they did that was the flop?
Full Metal Furies.
Oh, that's right.
Which had an incredible soundtrack from.
I knew you were going to say that.
It did.
It's so good. It's so good.
Well, that's not what that's. I mean, you're separating the development of the game versus like the soundtrack. And Shell in the Pit, I've never heard one of their tracks that I haven't loved.
Yeah, true.
But yeah, so I mean, it's like I said, if you like the first one, all current indications are that the second one is going to be just as good.
I plan on waiting though.
So yeah, I would agree. The only reason I bought it was just because I saw the whole like buy it now and you save like $10. So I was like, let me buy it. I'll play a little bit in early access. Oh, that's a new feature they added, Brad. So at the end, or sorry, when you're starting a new run. So in this, when you die, you keep all your money. But when you enter the castle, that's when you lose it. So you spend it all, and then you enter the castle and you lose it. One thing they added in this is like a kind of like a banking option. So I think in the original one,
there was something like
so you got to keep
like
X percentage of it. Yeah, but this you don't get to keep any, but X percentage goes into like a bank. And so it stays outside the castle. So every time you die, if you don't have enough money, you can actually pull from that bank, or you can like leave it in the bank and kind of, I don't know. It's almost the same, but a little bit different. I don't know. It's an interesting twist on it. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm enjoying it, but I'm probably gonna call it quits for now until they release the final version.
That's what a lot of people I hear are doing. They're just like, it's just not done.
Yeah, that's the thing. There's only one real area. I mean, like I said, there's 2 areas, and they'll be releasing more. But I just don't want to spend too much time. I mean, once again, I went back and played the original game like a month ago, kind of in anticipation for this. It's still just as good. So I mean, it's that style of game where even if I play it now, it's not like when the game comes out I'm going to hate it. I mean, it's a roguelike. You still play it.
So we are talking about Nolan. You played like 200 hours of Crypt of the Necrodancer before it ever.
That is true.
1.0,
but the thing about Rogue Legacy is it's a roguelike, but a lot of, and you do die a lot, but you can absolutely play this as just sort of a single run like experience just to get through the game.
Yeah, you can.
It's not one of the roguelikes where, I mean, a lot of people keep playing it where we're doing like New Game Plus and New Game Plus Plus and all that stuff, right? But if you're afraid of roguelikes, I might still recommend Rogue Legacy because of the heavy progression, permanent progression, which is not something you see in most roguelikes or even roguelites. It is a game where you consistently get stronger. So
it's one of those
even
things,
you, Nick, could appreciate this game, is what I'm saying.
Thank you, Brad. I knew you were
consistently getting stronger is very apparent. It's one of those things where when the first run you make, you are not going to get far. You are going to die early, but that's okay because you earn a little bit of money, and then you maybe get a little more health, and your next run's a little bit longer, and your next run's a little bit longer, and a little longer, and then you'll have an off run where you die real fucking quick, but then you'll have another one where you get really far. So yeah, it's definitely one of those things where the sense of progression is very obvious.
Very apparent, yeah.
This would be a game where a Mime class would be a good idea.
That's true. That's true.
I want to think about every game we talk about for the rest of the night.
How can I put a mime?
Think about how can we fit a mime into the fucking game.
Is it still all procedurally generated levels, or are there actually some preset levels now?
To my knowledge, it's still procedurally generated. I think you probably I haven't gotten there, but I'm assuming similar to the first one, you'll get an ability that lets you lock the last layout. Just because similarly to the first game, there will be certain sections that's like you physically can't do something because maybe you're too big or you're too small or you don't have some sort of ability. So I don't think I've gotten it, but similar to the first one, like I think you will be able to lock it down. But yeah, everything I play has been procedurally generated.
Cool. Okay. All right, so you had one more game you wanted to talk about tonight, right,
yes.
Nolan? What is that? I don't remember.
It's definitely not an addictive game at all. It's called Undermine. Mm-hmm. The easiest way to describe it would be The Binding of Isaac. The whole concept here is you are in a mine and you earn gold, and then when you die, you lose X% of that gold and you spawn back up to the top, and you can spend that gold to buy upgrades, to increase your damage output, to increase your health, to buy permanent upgrades to like your main weapon is like an axe, and you can swing it or you can throw it. So you can get upgrades to increase your throw distance or your throw damage.
This is a Nolan-ass game. It looks.
Yeah, it is. So
something
the whole
about
concept,
mines and procedurally generated. And,
yeah. So you'll
seems a weird time to be getting all these roguelikes with Spelunky on the way.
Yep, and Spelunky's about to come out.
Is that coming out soon?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, this month or next month?
Oh,
this
shit.
month.
This month. Yeah.
Couple weeks.
Yeah. So anyway, it's very similar to that. The reason I say it reminds me of Binding of Isaac is just because you're going deeper and deeper into like a dungeon or whatever. Like, but I mean, it's very much you can jump in this. That's kind of one of the things is there's a lot of abilities and things that similar to like a Rogue Legacy or a Spelunky, I guess less Spelunky, but depending on what you have on you, that changes how you can interact with things. There are certain areas where it's like, you need like, and the reason I say, Binding of Isaac is like the two of the items you get are bombs and keys. And that's very much Binding of Isaac. If you don't have a bomb, you can't break open this wall. If you don't have a key, you can't unlock this door, this chest. You'll find these like relic rooms that give you like upgrades. So I got the Adventurer's Whip that increases the chances of me finding secret rooms. There's lots of similarly to Binding of Isaac, there's lots of like references to things, but like this is a little more pop culture. So clearly the whip is a reference to like Indiana Jones. Yeah, you can actually find his hat too, and if you find both of them, I think you get just like a permanent, like you get 10,000 gold for finding both.
I like the look of this.
Oh no, it looks great and it plays great and has good music. Similar to like Binding of Isaac, and this is once again why I kind of compare the two. The first few levels are kind of similar enemy styles. You're fighting like rats, or you're fighting blobs, or these like floating kind of bug creatures. And the deeper you go, it kind of starts to change up the enemy types you encounter. There are boss battles that you'll get into that you need to defeat before you can progress. Like the first one, I can't remember what the first one was. It might have been like a worm that you have to like attack its tail, one of that style bosses. You'll see like in this room, there's oil on the ground, and you move slower through the oil, right? You can set that oil on fire and do damage to enemies. There's lots of different like abilities you can unlock. Like, you can unlock an ability that makes it to whenever you take a step, you just leave oil in your wake, but you can walk through it faster. So then you might get an upgrade to your axe later that makes it set things on fire. So you can jump around a room a bunch and then throw your axe and just set all those oil spots on fire and do damage to enemies. But cool. You can also do damage to yourself. So you got to be careful. There's lots of stuff like that. And so one of the like I said, this is definitely not a great run I'm doing here. I literally haven't played the game in like a couple of like maybe a little over a week or two, just because I've been playing other things, focusing on
Is this
2000.
is this like a recent release, or is this something that you've been? It's been out
So
for a
I
while?
believe it came out in early access last year, but its official release date was I think August of this year.
Gotcha.
So it's officially out. I think, like I said, I think end of last year it came out in early access, but I didn't even find out about this game until maybe a little over a month ago.
Looks fun.
So here's an instance where that chest, I can get to it if I walk over those spikes, but I don't want to deal with it. There is a charm or like a little like upgrade that you can get that makes you immune to spikes. So if I had that, I would have used it, but I didn't. So I didn't feel like taking the damage because I'm already having a bad run. But so one of the other concepts of this game is curses. And so there are certain things that it's like, hey, you can get this upgrade, but if you take it, you're going to get a random curse. And some of the curses are not too bad. Some of the curses are really bad. There's one curse that every time you enter a room, any gold that exists in that room, either in a wall or in a little like chunk of rock, just explodes out, which sounds like it'd be good. But if you've noticed, there's all these little green guys, and I forget their names, but they spawn anytime gold spawns, and they come and try and steal it from you. And so you'll see like one just popped up, and they see the gold, and they run for it, and they will steal it. And that's like frustrating because your whole point is you're trying to get as much gold as you can. And so these little motherfuckers want to come and steal it. This one, there's this mirror that whenever an enemy shoots a projectile at you, if you hit it, it bounces back towards them. Like this is one of those things, and once again, the reason I'm comparing it to Binding of Isaac is Binding of Isaac has all those like items and stuff you can get. This like that kind of change your tiers, or in this, it kind of does change how you interact with the world. And there are so many of them that I probably need a fucking guide to figure out what. I mean, granted, the difference in between Binding of Isaac and this is it straight up tells you what the item is when you interact with it. But like there are so many that I just don't even know what most of them are. Like I probably only encountered maybe like a tenth of the different items in this game.
It's cool. Like I haven't really played Binding. I've heard you talk about it a lot. I've seen footage of you playing it a lot. But there's something really cool about designing a game around the random, like having like a whole catalog of like items and curses and basically variables that can change your gameplay is pretty cool. But like this, I don't know, to me this seems more fast paced. Like there's so much going on screen at any given time.
No, there definitely
Binding of Isaac is like that. I just haven't.
Isaac can be like that. But what you saw in that room was there's like a random crystal on the ground that was touching water, and it was electrifying that water. Well, I broke that crystal, and now temporarily my axe will chain lightning damage between enemies. Damn. And so you'll see me hit an enemy and it'll chain lightning between them, which is fucking cool. Unfortunately, it's only temporary, but there is a charm that you can get that gives you that permanently. So it's one of those things where it is definitely a roguelike. You don't know what you're going to get. You will have good runs. You will have bad runs. You will have runs that you like just horrible. You get nothing. You'll have runs that you get some. There's one ability that I got. I can't remember what it was called, but essentially when I threw my axe, instead of it immediately coming back to me, as long as I held it down, it stayed there, which is fucking fantastic for big bosses because you just chunk it and let it stay there. And as long as the boss isn't moving around, he's just constantly taking damage. And then I got an upgrade that when I throw my axe, I actually throw 3 axes. And so it was a great fucking run. You saw there that I blew up a purple like a brazier or whatever, and it gave me a curse. And that curse is every time I lay a bomb, I take damage. And so it's like, oh, that's not a great curse to have. So I don't know how much more I can say about this game. I don't think I've gotten too far in it. I don't know how deep it goes. It's one of those things where similar to the Binding of Isaac, the first time you play it, you defeat Mom and that's the end of the game. But in reality, you've beaten the first out of like 5 or 6 different like in-game bosses. So I don't know how in depth this one goes. It probably would be me playing this game for like 200 hours before I see like all of like the content that's there.
Shit. Well, it does look very cool. And remind me again, what is this called? Undermine. Undermine. Yeah, I like this. This looks neat.
It's pretty fun.
How much is this game, Nolan? Not that I think I have time to play this, but it looks cool.
I'm not sure off the top of my head. Undermine is $20.
$20.
It's definitely worth
Also,
$20.
I think this is on Game Pass, dude.
Really?
shit.
Everything's on Game Pass.
Everything apparently is on Game Pass.
It's like right as fucking GameFly is just slowly dying, Game Pass comes along to save us all.
Yeah.
What's
Wonderful.
dying?
Isn't Game Pass or no? Isn't GameFly not doing great? Am I thinking of something else? Or no, I'm thinking of
Redbox
fucking
is gone.
Redbox. Yeah,
Which is
Redbox.
that's a
Redbox
different
is dead.
kind of tragedy. That's easy console games on day one, but oh well.
Mm-hmm.
GameFly also like not.
What do you know about GameFly, dog? You leave GameFly alone.
Tell me. I thought I remember hearing you talk about GameFly having some problems.
They did
lately.
start selling Funko Pops.
Oh, that's right. You said that was the first step towards their downfall.
Yeah.
That's right. Okay.
That's just a sign.
We need to take a break. When we come back, there's been some big news that we haven't had a chance to talk about yet. I want to talk about the Warner Brothers announcements. We'll talk about Gotham Knights and Suicide Squad. I also want to, of course, talk about today's Nintendo announcement. Primarily, oh my God, Butters. Primarily the Super Mario 3D Allstars in particular. So don't go anywhere.
Why that
We
in
have-
particular? That's
I don't know.
the
I mean,
least interesting news.
Well, to you, maybe. I mean, I want to talk about the Nintendo Direct, but to me, the thing I'm personally most interested in is 3D All Stars. But there was
Basically,
a lot of
Nick
stuff,
doesn't have a GameCube anymore.
I don't have a GameCube. Not basically, literally, don't have a GameCube anymore. Anyways, let's take a break. We'll come back. We have plenty more to talk about. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to the show, everybody. There's some news that's happened. I don't know where we want to start. Does anybody have a preference? Okay, so how about we start with the Warner Brothers stuff? Because that happened a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
Sure.
And this is another situation, kind of like Fall Guys, where I wish Crispy was here to talk about it. We had some conversations after the podcast last week about some of this stuff. But DC held their big DC Fandome event, and that was where they finally pulled the curtain back on two highly anticipated projects from Warner Brothers, one of which was, of course, why don't we start with Rocksteady finally revealed their project that they've been working on, which is officially, this leaked a few weeks ahead of, everybody kind of
leaked like a year ago.
I mean,
it was a while ago.
The fact that it was a Suicide Squad game leaked a year ago, but like the title, like literally the official title of the game leaked like a month ago. Which is, of course, Suicide Squad: Kill the Justice League.
Such a silly name.
Cool.
Yeah, I mean, but it also feels very comic booky. I feel like.
That is true.
Also, no, they don't.
No, they don't. What?
No, they don't. They don't kill the Justice League.
Oh yeah, of course not. I mean,
obviously,
I was kind of curious.
They're
about...
gonna unbrainwash them.
Well, that's their goal, is to kill them. But yes, they are going to find a way to not do it.
Yeah, and
something reasons.
I was curious about the direction they were going to go with this, because I was like, it's the Suicide Squad, which is technically speaking, the good guys run the Suicide Squad, but it's a league formed by villains that are
It's a penal squad. Right?
Yeah, it's a penal squad. Yeah. So I was kind of curious to direct. I was like, how are they going to justify killing the Justice League? And then of course we see the trailer. We get the big reveal, and of course Superman is brainwashed by Brainiac, and he is bad and wreaking havoc in Metropolis. But we finally got to see like the lineup, kind of the tone of the game. Unfortunately, we didn't really get much in terms of details as to like what kind of game this ultimately is. There were some interviews with folks at Rocksteady about what the game actually is and whether it's games as a service or
the rumors from like a year ago or whatever were that this is games as a service. The same one that were like, this is also Suicide Squad.
But and they did address, like, there were interviews at the event, and they did address kind of the elephant in the room, I guess. And they were a little more dodgy about it than, say, like Warner Brothers is, which we'll talk about. I mean, WB Montreal was when talking about their game, which we'll talk about in a second, because they came at it very straightforward. I'm still kind of confused about this, but it seems to me like while this is going to be games as a service to some extent, it's also just kind of meant to be a co-op game. You play online with friends, or you can play single player. They did say, concretely that you can play through Suicide Squad single player with AI controlled characters offline, that kind of thing. It's one of those situations where it's like, because it could be a games as a service type game. How fun is it actually doing that? That's why I'm actually kind of curious to play the Avengers right now, is because that is straight up kind of a games as a service game. But there's a lot of people who are finally got their hands on it and are playing it solo and are actually enjoying it quite a bit. And I'm wondering what kind of experience you can kind of have with that kind of game playing by yourself. But yeah, we finally got to look at the game. We've been wondering what the fuck Rocksteady has been working on for so long. It's kind of a bummer.
Did we get a look at the game?
Yes, he has. The bummer is that
this was such a bummer because we knew about it and then all we got was a cinematic trailer. So it's like,
but here's
that's never good enough. It's never good enough.
It's never good. It's never good enough in this day and age when things just inevitably leak. And I'm sure they went into this hoping that nothing was going to leak.
It's not just that it's leaked. It's also that it had been 5 years since their last game released and another 2 years before this game releases. So 5 years and we have a cinematic trailer. That's unfortunate, right?
But it's unfortunate, but it's the first time we saw. But like, think about The Last of Us 2. It was like, what, 7 years between Last of Us 1 and Last of Us 2? And we didn't see The Last of Us 2, didn't really get anything beyond a cinematic trailer until what? 2 years ago?
I mean, the only thing I would say to that was that there was two projects made in between then, versus this is being a new direct.
And Lost Legacy.
I am discounting the fact that they made a game in another franchise, and you're right.
Two other.
This is obviously the first game they've made in 7 years.
Yeah, it's been a long time. Like, it's got to be a situation where something else they were working on got canceled,
or maybe it's
been too.
It's possible
otherwise
this game started as something totally different and got changed, or it didn't get off the ground as quickly, or they didn't find the right fit for this game.
Maybe like Marvel, right? Isn't there rumors that this Avengers game started off as something that isn't what it is?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's honestly, a team like Rocksteady coming off of spending so much time making a very specific kind of game, making the Batman Arkham series one after the other. I can imagine suddenly being tasked with okay, we need to make something different, something that feels fresh but distinct. It's probably difficult getting that off the ground or finding the right fit for it,
right? But these feel like a Star Wars The Old Republic thing, right? This isn't KOTOR 1 and KOTOR 2. This is KOTOR 3, 4, 5, and 6, right? This is something new. It's big. It's crazy. We wanted to do something crazy, but we just wanted KOTOR 3. And while I didn't want another Batman Arkham game, just another Batman Arkham game, those were really good. Rockstar made 3 awesome games, and that style of game might kind of be going away. I mean,
it's we'll talk about Gotham Knights in a second, because I certainly going into this event,
right?
I certainly didn't expect that to not be. I thought that was going to straight up be an Arkham clone, straight up.
Everyone did. And there was reason to believe that.
So. Yeah, and there was reason to. We were expecting kind of they were letting Rocksteady do their own thing. So Warner Brothers Montreal was going to pick up the baton and continue the Batman Arkham style game, but that's totally not what we got. Which I want to talk about.
And Farrakhan is telling me in chat that I know it might not be another Arkham game like I wanted, but it's Rocksteady and I should trust Rocksteady. But time and time again, we've seen talented developers.
I think he was saying that, Brad, because I think you said Rockstar earlier.
Oh,
I think that's why he was clarifying Rocksteady.
Okay, sure. But this is something that I've heard, right? It's Rocksteady, trust Rocksteady. But I trusted maybe BioWare and maybe Crystal Dynamics, and now they're making games as a service games that aren't all that loved. Maybe Marvel Avengers is a little more loved than Anthem, but still, just because they're talented people doesn't mean they can pull off this new thing that.
But I will say this: I've heard there's been a lot of talk around what this game actually might be, considering all we really have to go on is this cinematic trailer and some interviews and some comments on it, whatnot. But there's been some people who were instrumental in kind of like, not the leak, but like we're talking about this prior to its announcement, and the things that they were talking about came to pass. And I remember reading things about like Suicide Squad is going to feel like kind of an open world co-op Sunset Overdrive, which is like super.
Okay,
That's enticing.
cinematic trailer had the vibe of
Sunset Overdrive.
No,
Absolutely.
definitely.
That's it, right? That's where like that name enters and exits the conversation, right?
Well,
Maybe,
I
to
mean,
my
I
knowledge.
think when they say Sunset Overdrive,
Fun and kooky.
I think, well, not so much the fun and kooky. I think they're really focusing on the mobility, because
I mean, but we don't know that yet. I mean, that's the hope. That's kind of the hope. But the thing is, like the 4 characters that they've chosen for you to play as, none of them, to me, scream like great mobility options. Like Batman has a very obvious way of traversing a world. Harley
Well, I mean,
Quinn,
but then you watch that trailer, and for example, Captain Boomerang, like he's throwing it to like fucking teleport across the map.
yeah, that's cool. And I'm sure like this is where I kind of trust Rocksteady is that to find really fun and interesting ways to traverse an open world, and also to make an open world that is interesting. This is the first game they've made, same universe. They've talked about this being like part of the Batman Arkham universe, but takes place in Metropolis, so it's going to have a unique feel to it. It's going to touch on other parts of the lore they never had a chance to touch on.
So here's
which is
my
exciting.
thinking there. Here's my thinking there.
Puzzles and Metroid style stuff.
Rocksteady.
Wait, what?
Do you think it's gonna have cool puzzles and Metroid style stuff?
I mean, I kind of expect it to. That's kind of what they've made before, right? Like that's where I want to like. That's where it's disappointing, because this trailer doesn't give us enough of a taste of that kind of stuff, and that's what everybody wants to know.
I mean, yeah, but cinematic announcement trailer. We'll get a gameplay trailer probably in a couple months, and we'll find out more. But my thinking is what they're going to do. So the biggest surprise about Arkham Knight was how well they just hid the fact that the Joker's in the game, and made it such an integral part of that. I'm honestly thinking that they're going to adapt an existing storyline from the comics and fold it into this narrative to where you literally are supposed to kill all the Justice League. There is a storyline called the Tower of Babel. It came out about 20 years ago, I believe. The whole idea was that Batman, being the most prepared person on the planet, had thought about what would happen if the Justice League went rogue. And
so he had planned how he would.
He prepared detailed files on how he would take them
plans.
down. What I'm thinking the storyline they're going to do is Brainiac got that information, or
you mean Suicide Squad?
sorry, the Suicide Squad is given that information by Amanda Waller, and you have to use that. But $5 says Batman pops up at the end.
Oh, I mean, it's a fucking DC game. It's
I'm
definitely
sure he'll
like
show up in some.
he's
way,
probably going
shape,
to
or
show up in
form.
Gotham Knights too, beyond being dead.
Oh yeah, no, there's I have no doubt in my mind that he'll show up in that, because you don't
certainly
kill Batman.
I certainly
Why not?
want to know.
This is it's a Suicide Squad video game. What happens if they just kill them all? Who cares? It's not like it has any like actual meaning across like
This is comic
whatever.
books.
It's a standalone game. Like they kill them all. They're
I'll
dead.
There
tell
are
you this.
zero stakes in comic books.
You're right. I'll tell you this, though. I watched the trailer, and as kind of nervous and scared as I am to see what this game ultimately becomes, because I don't want it to just be this like cash grab games as a service type experience. It struck a really good tone with me, because I like the vibe of it. I like it's bright. It looks like a totally different style than what they've done before, just from the tone of the story they're telling, the world that you're going to be able to explore. And that's what they're really good at. They're good at making worlds, and they're good at making really good traversal. I'm playing
between this and Fall Guys. Like, what the fuck is Crispy's problem?
Not being here.
Yeah, he should have been here, man. And I know part of it might have been because, like, maybe he didn't play much new or whatever. Maybe he was busy, but what the fuck? I wanted to
Yeah,
see
now
him
you-
argue with Nolan about Fall Guys maps because
That would
that
have been good.
was always next time.
Tell that.
All right.
Somebody tweeted that motherfucker. Tell him he's a motherfucker.
Yeah.
You got
We
your
love
own
to
Twitter
critique
account.
him.
Tweet at him.
Well, I don't,
He's like, hey, no, it can't come from my account.
yeah. Don't tell him it's from me.
There can't be any evidence. We're not recording a podcast or putting this video on YouTube at all. No, so you're
All
okay,
right.
Brad.
Let's talk about the other game that was announced. Of course, Warner Brothers Montreal has been teasing this fucking game, this fucking Batman Court of Owls game for like 9 months, and they finally unveil it. And to my surprise, and this unfortunately leaked like the day of the event before it happened too, which is, but which kind of ruined the surprise. But this is Gotham Knights, doesn't even have the word Batman in the title. I'm tempted to describe it as a 4-player co-op game because that is, or it's not, it's a 2-player co-op game. There's 4 playable characters. You can play up to 2 players co-op, but it's also just like a story-centric open world game set in the Batman universe.
We're not going to really know until we're playing the beta.
I'm not. I don't know what it is about this project, but something about it is really exciting me.
Has anyone?
I mean, aside from the
co-op in a single-player game properly? I mean, obviously they have, right? But
Yeah.
in an open world game,
The Far Cry game, like Far Cry, like 3 or
yeah.
Well,
I
I
played
don't
some
think
Far Cry-
the story.
I played some Far Cry 4 co-op. Didn't I?
Yeah.
Crackdown 3. Wait,
Do
2.
y'all-
Sorry, 2.
do y'all think that this is just going to be like?
Dying Light.
But
But a great example.
is that what? Do y'all think that this is just going to be like, say, Dying Light?
That's what I,
I mean,
hope it is.
but like that's great.
How is that
Like,
a bad
I love
thing?
Dying
No,
Light.
No, I know that's great, but do y'all really believe that that's what this is?
Well,
When
here's
you
the
saw
thing.
damage numbers popping off Mr. Freeze.
Okay, we're gonna talk about the damage numbers. Everyone seems to be focusing on that, and I get it.
It's a sign. It's a sign.
It's a sign that it's different from the Arkham series.
And a little
It's
cash, and those numbers will go up, Nick.
I mean, but
No.
here's just don't do that.
No.
Like don't.
Okay, well,
It's a,
you don't
if that's the case,
money in Destiny, but that doesn't mean you're playing it.
People pay money in Destiny for cosmetics. They're not paying to get
You know what I'm
damage boosts.
saying. You know what I'm saying.
No, I
feel-
want you to spell it out.
I do
I'm
feel
saying-
better about this project.
Okay, I'll explain it in things you understand. The Division. This could be the Division, Chris Davis.
No,
He did play the Division for 800 hours.
and I've put 400 hours in the sequel, and let me tell you, no, it's not. They're not going to go with that direction for this game.
I don't trust Warner Brothers as far as I can throw them.
But there was a detailed interview with developers of this game talking, and they addressed those kinds of questions pretty head on. What they said alleviated some of my concerns in that this is a single player game that you can play with up to one other person if you want to. But other than that, it is a.
What else did they say though? Because I mean,
They did talk about they talked about the damage numbers.
To come out and say the exact same thing about Marvel Avengers.
But like,
They
here's
said-
the thing: why does damage numbers equate to?
Because it's a sign of like it's a Schluter, you know, or whatever, right? It's the games definitely didn't have that before.
Sure, but this is also not a sequel to Arkham, any of the Arkham games. This is not.
It is, but it isn't, right? I
This
mean,
is their own thing.
but it's not because if
but
you
damage numbers don't always equate to cash grabs like
sure
microtransactions.
Sure. But if you look at the gameplay, it doesn't look like something completely new. It still looks very Arkham-y, right? Like the things you're doing, like climbing along the rafters as Batgirl, and it looks like Arkham, but maybe morphed into something else.
Well,
I mean, it
hold,
does
Brett,
look
what,
one
so
way or the
yes,
other,
it
it's
does,
morphed into
it
something
does
else.
look like they have taken influence from other games that have come out since the Arkham series and maybe taken some of those aspects and put them in this game. But that does not make them that game. What is wrong with an Arkham game with damage numbers? Maybe there's a
Sharing an
little
art
more.
style does not make two games
I don't know. It's about art style.
I like
You
damage
know,
numbers, but you
well,
got
hold on, Brad. What I'm saying is I'm trying to be optimistic about this. What if it is just if throughout the world you find upgrades or way to improve yourself that dynamically change your abilities, which might affect your damage numbers?
like
That's always a possibility. Maybe you solve a riddle or puzzle and you get some upgrade that gives you fucking stronger forearms, so you punch harder on dudes and do more damage.
No, I mean,
That's always a possibility.
I think it could be that. I think it could absolutely be that, but I'm always, it's hard to be optimistic in this industry these days.
Sure.
That's all I'm saying. I want to be. I want to. I want it to be the thing that I want it to be, which is just give me an Arkham game and give me the option to play with another player and leave it at that. But that game doesn't make them buckets of money anymore, and I think that's what they're worried about. Because they're always. I mean,
all I can tell you is there's a.
How do we feel about the B team?
Wait, what?
How do we feel about the B team?
I mean,
Arkham Origins.
As someone who played and enjoyed Arkham Origins, it doesn't bother me. I was fully prepared to play another Arkham game, just regular ass Arkham game made by this team.
Yeah, but I mean, Arkham Origins was okay. Some people didn't like it. Some people did, right? But it's definitely a situation where it is what it is because they just copied the thing that Rocksteady made, right?
Well,
right, and now they're not doing that, and they're being grilled for doing that.
No,
you know what I'm saying?
I'm saying
it's like damned if you do, damned if you don't.
No,
I mean, they're also taking out the Arkham combat system. It's not in this game.
How do you?
It's not a combo brawler.
It's a what?
It's not a combo brawler. It's not the same style of combat as Arkham, where you're tapping the button presses to dodge moves.
That's unfortunate because that's one of the best things about that series is the combat.
Yeah, but but what I'm saying is they're taking this opportunity to make this game their own, and that could go either way. You're right; it could still end up being.
I don't want games as a service, and
I don't want it either. As someone who's
even if this isn't that, I just don't want the Arkham formula to go away.
But it's gone. It's this. We got 2 game announcements. Neither of them are these Arkham games.
Not literally Arkham. Not literally.
I know, but I'm saying this style of game.
Riddler trophies. I don't want that to go away.
Suicide Squad is, who knows what that's going to be combat wise or design wise. But this game is certainly trying to be something different, and that's, I think, exciting. And I'm saying that as someone who is usually by default very knee-jerky bad reaction to games as a service, and there's a lengthy interview that's out there. I posted the link on Twitter. They address these things pretty head on.
They specifically say it's not a games as a service.
They specifically said that this is a game that can be played single player by yourself.
That means nothing. You got to stop saying that line because
read the fucking interview. Did you read the interview I posted?
No, of course I did. But what I'm saying is, can be played single player. It means nothing. Now, if they say it's not games as a service,
they specifically said they were not designing this game as a games as a service game, word for word. I mean, that's off the top of my head, but they specifically said this game was not designed as a games as a service game.
Someone link it in chat. I'll
Dude, I don't know what to tell you, and I'm not saying I 100% buy into this. I don't necessarily believe them 100%. It's one of those situations where I'll wait until I believe it when I see it.
I just don't want the Metroid to go away. That's all. That's it.
Wait, you don't want what?
I don't want the Metroid to go away. You take away my Metroid, and I'll be crushed. Just don't.
Dude, I don't know. There's vehicles in this game, which looks pretty cool.
Yeah, I like vehicles for sure.
And
Gotham's probably going to be pretty fucking big.
Big Gotham. They did talk in that interview.
Hopefully not too big.
They did try to quell people's. They did try to quell people's concerns about because when they saw the damage numbers, they assumed level gating and whatnot, and they're like, this game is not level gated.
Again,
that's not something, but again, I'll believe it when I see it. But that's the way they're choosing to approach the answers to these questions at this point in their reveal.
If there's a beta, that's when we know we're in trouble.
There wasn't talk of a beta, right? I didn't just miss that.
No, there wasn't talk of one that I saw.
But also, they talk about how like the watchtower is kind of like your like home base, and that kind of to me makes me think of like Destiny, and I'm a little worried about that. But you know what?
Tower, and that scared the shit out of me.
Yeah. But I don't know. I'm eager to see more. I'm in it for the story. It is the Court of Owls.
Think of it potentially like Assassin's Creed 2 Montergione, where you just have like a home base you can go back to, and you can get upgrades for the watchtower and stuff like that. That could be cool.
But you know what? I'm looking forward to playing as Batgirl. That's gonna be pretty dope. But anyways,
agreed.
All right, let's move on. Today was the big Nintendo Direct. It's the 35th anniversary of Super Mario Brothers. So today, Nintendo made a bunch of announcements.
Mr. Game & Watch with Mario.
Yeah, so
we wanted
as someone
that.
who didn't get to see the whole thing from start to finish, I know the things that I'm personally excited about. But Brad, you pointed out, rightfully so, that there were some other things worth mentioning.
Yeah,
from
like
this event.
Like a Game & Watch handheld, which actually just plays Super Mario Brothers and the Lost Levels, and I think that's
well, there is an actual like Game & Watch mode,
and
like
what
the OG Game & Watch, like juggling the balls or whatever.
It's true. I mean, if
Super Mario.
That's $20. That's cool, but if it's more than $20, that's not cool.
I mean, it's kind of like in all reality, it really is just a nostalgia trip. I mean, I don't think it's going to be worth it. There's 10,000 other ways you can play Super Mario.
Hack one of those things. Like,
I'm sure someone will figure it out.
But what I'm saying is, you still only have the two A and B button.
That's true.
So
you are limited.
Play Super Nintendo games on it or whatever.
Yeah.
There is a mixed reality. What do you call it?
Augmented reality.
Augmented reality Mario Kart game where you're actually driving remote control cars around like your living room, but you're controlling it via is it a camera, or are you just
it seemed like there was a camera on the cars and you're like playing it on the TV.
But are you seeing like in-game art assets, or are you seeing your world?
I'm not sure. They weren't 100% clear. It might be both. Maybe they use augmented reality to throw up some in-game assets on your world,
which there are certainly in-game assets, but you're racing around a track, and the car set up around your room. Yeah, you set up the track, but you have to race someone else, right? Otherwise, what's the point? So there's got to be two remote control cars going around your room, and I guess the cool thing is you're actually shooting like red shells at the other racer. And there's no red shell in your living room, but it can turn off temporarily, like
disable their car or whatever.
Okay, real quick, I'm confused. This isn't like an actual race car that they give you, right?
Yes,
it is.
Yeah. You buy a little like RC car.
Actual RC cars moving around your living room.
I posted a link to an image in chat.
Screen.
But how does that work if someone fires a shell at you? But like you said, there's no shell. But like, does your car like freak out?
The game knows where the cars are. It knows where the track is. You're playing a video game on your Switch, and you're seeing the other car in the game. But that's just the car is just equivocating.
Dude, there's going to be so many people with brothers and sisters that go over and just kick your car while it's driving.
Yeah, I mean,
the dog's going to run over and grab it.
From what I heard, it's like $100 for like the Game & One car. You can't just buy another car. You have to buy a whole other package.
So you're definitely going to be able to buy another car.
What I heard is that the Luigi car comes in the same package. So you're spending basically another $100 to.
Well, I guess in theory that makes sense, because you don't only get another car, you probably get more assets that you can use to make your tracks bigger.
Yeah, true.
What if you can make another car with Nintendo Labo?
I doubt that's going to be the case.
No.
Yeah. Either way, this is like stupid and expensive, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not going to get it. I don't think any of us here are going to get it.
It's kind of a neat idea, though. I guess. I mean,
sure.
They got the right developer to do it. It's Velen Studios, the guys that were behind the Skylanders games, so they understand like peripheral based, like
the people who made Skylanders.
Huh?
Toys for Bob made. I think Brad might be right.
Well, no, they were one of the developers that worked on Skylanders game.
Maybe later entries.
Yeah.
What about the video games?
Well, there was Mario 35.
Mm,
So what is that?
So you remember that Tetris 100 game?
I think
That
that's
Battle
like
Royale
one of the
Tetris
coolest
game?
things here, right?
That's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
this is
It's
the
basically-
Mario.
Did you see it,
equivalent
Nick?
of that.
Tetris 99.
No, I didn't.
It's
So-
35. It's 35 people playing the like an OG Super Mario at the same time. But every time you like kill an enemy, it will send that enemy to another player, and you're trying to be the first one to finish like the level.
It's
But you're like
Mario
kind of
Battle Royale. Tetris 99, Tetris Battle Royale. This is Mario Battle Royale.
Mhm.
Interesting.
Mhm.
It's cool.
But didn't I see?
I think it's
did I maybe I heard this wrong, but I heard this was like this is only going to be playable through March of next year,
no.
and then it's gone.
You heard
No.
wrong.
This is like Tetris 99. It's like free with the Nintendo Online service. Obviously, you have to be online to play this. They're just giving it away as part of that.
I know,
right?
but I was listening.
Oh
to
no! You heard what you heard about through March was the actual
no.
Mario collection.
No. I know what you're talking about. You can only buy the Mario 3D All Stars collection through March. But I was listening to Kind of Funny Games Daily earlier today.
Hold on,
and they were
Nick,
talking.
I'm on Nintendo.com. It
Uh-huh.
says Super Mario Brothers 35 available October 1st. This game will only be playable until March 31st, 2021.
Told you.
Ain't-
That's what I'm
What?
saying.
So
That game can. They're treating that game like they're treating that game like an event that is only happening for a limited amount of time.
okay. So what about
I don't know why.
what about the 3D All Stars? Is that like a mistranslation?
No. The 3D All-Stars,
It seems
you can
like
only-
that one you can only buy it in that time range as well.
Yeah.
As soon as you buy it, it's yours forever. But it seems like you can only buy it until like March 2021. It seems like they're trying to put some weird artificial limited access kind of stuff on all this shit.
They're
I don't know
trying to
why.
make this shit seem more. They're going to end up making it feel like fucking like collector's items that if you missed out on the chance.
So the Mario 3D collection, is that physical?
Yes. Well,
It's physical and digital. It's both.
It's and the physical edition is rather limited. I did get one through Best Buy today. I don't even think it's available on Amazon yet. So I don't know how limited it's going to be. But
Why are they doing this? Why are they doing this?
They're trying to make this like event seem like if you got something, if you participated, if you bought something, you were part of this event, and then it was over.
Okay, well,
And
a 3D remaster collection or a 3D port collection, whatever the fuck it is.
It's a
is
port
not an
collection.
event. It's a video game. It's not an event. It's not even an online video.
I
game.
know, but they're only selling it through March of
but that's
next year.
absurd.
I know it's absurd. It is absolutely absurd. Like
Pretty silly.
I mean,
it's
I don't even want it, but now I feel like because I might never get it again, maybe I should get it. And I guess Nintendo wins because I'm thinking that.
I gave them my money already. I want this very badly, but I think it is shitty as hell that they're doing this limited time offer. It's what's really shitty is that they're like you can't even buy it. I thought it was like retail copies are only available through March, but same thing with digital. So people are going to be
only available.
People are going to be
What?
installing this shit. Yeah, people are going to be installing this shit on their Switches and then selling Switches for like $600 on eBay.
Fucking-
No. So that's not how that works. It's still tied to your account. So
Yeah.
if you would be selling like a Nintendo
Okay,
account in that case.
Yeah, I guess
Because
you're
I
right.
was reading on their website, if you do buy a digital version of it,
But that's what.
while
that's
you can't buy it after March 2021, at any point in time, if you delete it, you can still re-download it to your Switch via.
But
your
isn't that how
account.
the PlayStation network worked with PT? Like that was synced to an account, but people were still selling PlayStations with PT installed on it.
Yeah, they were essentially getting rid of their accounts. I mean, for all intents and purposes, that person has to like.
You can like.
I guess you don't have to.
play a
You
game
can play it offline.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can play it offline, so it's still on.
But
the
it's
system,
still-
I
but you-
guess.
But it still has to be tied to an account. I don't know.
So I guess in that case, you could probably sell the Switch with the game installed. It depends on if Nintendo makes you go online to play it. Because if they do, then it is useless unless you just sell that account. And I mean, I guess some people probably don't care. They'll just create a new Nintendo account.
Yeah, whatever. You know,
point
if
is,
the price is right, what's gonna happen in 20 years, but in reality, in 20 years, it's probably be quite easy to emulate all this stuff. So,
I'm very excited about this collection, but
why?
Wait, what?
So I feel like the collection is a little like half-assed, maybe.
Okay, it is kind of because
it
first of all,
is.
Super Mario 64 is literally just a port. Like it hasn't been, the aspect ratio is still 4:3. It's basically just it's
$60, right?
It's $60.
Yeah.
The weird thing is that Super Mario Sunshine is 16:9 now. Like they cleaned that game up, but they didn't clean up Mario 64.
I think it's easier for them to do it for the GameCube game than the 64 for some reason. I think it's just the way the assets work.
Probably.
It's easier for them to do it.
Personally, I was really hoping they were like straight up remaking Mario 64 with the Mario Odyssey engine, and then the other two were going to be ports.
Everyone
that's kind of what I was.
That would have been fucking incredible.
That would have been nice because you know what? Fuck Mario Sunshine.
Dude, that is the main reason I'm buying this collection, though.
If
it is the only 3D Mario I've never finished, and I know it's hard as fuck.
That's
I know it.
I finished it because that game is a fucking asshole.
I know, but like,
it's not even like it's just hard. It's tedious.
I'm gonna do it.
I mentioned it on Twitter, but the reason Mario Sunshine is so fucked is because it's very difficult, right? I argue because I think they kind of fucked with the physics a little too much, but whatever. So you go into you start off in Delfino Plaza, and and some of the stages are really easy to get to, but some of them get really complicated to get to. Like there's some that are far away, right? And you have to like ride a boat to get to that fucking island to get to that level, right? And then within that level, there might be another like a secret level where you don't have your flood backpack, right? And you're doing all the flipping and stuff, right? And it's like Mario Galaxy or whatever, right? But you lose all your lives. And what happens? You go back to the center of Delfino Plaza. And that's why Mario Sunshine is fucked. It's fucked. It's artificially annoying. Now, if they were to fix that and maybe have you like continue inside the world, that you died,
that would be good.
That would be infinitely more enjoyable of a game.
I am not disagreeing with you there.
Do something.
But part of me is just like excited to, because like I said earlier, I confirmed I don't have a GameCube anymore. So like,
why not? It's such an adorable console.
It is an adorable console. I don't even know what happened to mine. It's gone. It's just long gone. So I don't.
Somebody brought this point up. I don't know if it was in chat, and they made a really good point. And they say, Nick, for someone who is so like obsessed with having like physical copies of things, you get rid of your old systems. So what the fuck do you even play them on?
I don't get rid of all my old systems.
Okay, well, you got rid of your Vita and your GameCube.
I got rid of my Vita because I wasn't playing anything on it. I had nothing tying me to that system.
A physical collection is not about playing the stuff all the time. It's about having it. So in 20 years you can play it.
Well,
dude, if you had told me that like Vita was going to become the best way to play all these PS1 classics via download back then, I wouldn't have sold it. But I had nothing keeping me tied to that system. It was a Lumines player for me.
Nick, didn't you keep your Wii?
I kept my Wii U.
He sold his Wii.
Okay.
He sold my Wii.
I sold my. Oh, did I?
Yes, we've been over
right.
this, Nick.
I
you
forgot
sold
about
mine,
that.
and then you gave me yours.
Yes. Oops.
I'm just saying it seems like an interesting paradox is all.
I mean, it's not,
no, it does.
I still have my PS3 because I can play PS1 and PS2 game or Did I play PS2 games? I don't fucking remember.
Yeah, I played PS2.
I kept my PS3 because it can play PS1 games.
And PS2. If it's a launch.
I don't have a PS2 anymore. I don't have a GameCube anymore.
How many PS? Well, okay. What? Hey.
But like every game,
this should go into our backwards compatibility news, right? Do we even have news on that?
I mean, we can talk about it. It wasn't on the doc, but absolutely. Here's the thing about if we're going to roll right into the PS5 backwards compatibility thing, I think it's so weird that it's become such a talking point because were people expecting to be able to pop in PlayStation 1, 2, and 3 games into PS5 and play them?
No,
Because I certainly wasn't.
They weren't. I assert that this is a talking point for people who've really bought the company line from Microsoft about how the Xbox One's biggest feature is the fact that you can play the older stuff because they didn't really have a impressive first party lineup, right? So they were really pushing the legacy stuff, right? This was before I found out you can't even can you put in an original Xbox disc into an Xbox One?
Yes,
Yes.
you can.
Play that game?
Wait, oh,
Yes.
you mean an Xbox One game?
And can you put I have like over 100 original Xbox games right next to me right here. Can I put any of those into an Xbox
If it
One?
is on the list, then yes.
And that list is 34 games?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's not actual backwards compatibility. That's a joke. So the fact that even Xbox fans were expecting like a full like backwards compatibility PlayStation legacy, even though PlayStation goes back an extra generation to the PS1, where games were far uglier looking on a modern display, is absurd. No one should have been expecting this. I think it is a win that there is PS4 backwards compatibility, because if we've determined anything, it's that no one wants to keep their loud ass PS4. We want to put it in a nice quiet PS5. It will be quiet, right? It's gonna be quiet. It has
It better be quiet.
You better you hope it is.
with a controller that lasts more than 30 minutes. Fuck my PS4. I can't wait to get rid of it. The good news is my PS5 will play all my PS4 games, so I can throw it in the trash or destroy it with a baseball bat.
If you trade it in, you can get like $50 for it.
I could probably go at it for a while with my fist before it really started bothering me. I mean, I'd be bleeding, but I'm saying I have enough rage that I think I can give it like a good dozen to 24 blows with my fists.
So you want to fist it? Okay.
Oh my god.
That's your personal business, I guess.
Yeah.
That's
So, Brad, the reason, let me kind of go back to this original conversation that started this 3D All-Stars. Honestly, the only reason I want it is for Odyssey. Sorry, not Odyssey, Galaxy.
Galaxy.
But there's the other thing about that is that it's Galaxy 2
I wish
is not
it had
in
Galaxy 2. They're probably going to release that like fucking later.
They're going to wait for the 36th anniversary.
Yeah,
and release Galaxy 2 separately.
So Brad, so a while back, because what the fuck is the point of a Wii U? I modded mine so I could play other games on it. I got Sunshine running great on it. I can't get Odyssey running on it. I found a lot of forums and stuff. Apparently, it's supposed to be easy. Thank you. I keep saying that. I can't get Galaxy running properly. I don't know why. It's very frustrating. I've spent a lot of time doing it. And the problem is it's not a quick process. It's an extremely slow process because the way it doesn't work is when I go to boot up into the game, it kind of gives me a weird error message. And then I have to restart the console, which means I have to restart the console, go to the Wii U homepage, log into the Wii homepage, log into the mod channel or whatever to try to get to it. It's like a 10-minute process every time I try and troubleshoot it, and I just kind of get sick of it. What's up, Brad?
Just pop a disc into a Wii U, though, right?
Correct. I don't have the Galaxy disc. I don't have it anymore. I don't remember why I don't have it. I used to have it at some point. I usually don't sell games, so I'm not really sure why that one got misplaced.
I always have panic attacks when I'm like, wait, I have this game. Where's this fucking game? I can't find this game. What happened?
Yeah.
Someone's taking my games. I lost the sleeve of games.
Speaking of missing games,
Game Gnomes.
Anybody missing a copy of Demon Souls?
Didn't you say that was Crispy's?
I'm pretty sure it's Crispy's.
He said it wasn't his. So I powered up my PlayStation 3 a few weeks ago to start playing Parasite Eve and the other retro games. And there was a copy of Demon Souls in my system, and I don't know why.
Didn't you let him borrow your PS3 at one point?
Yeah. But
it was so he can play Demon Souls. So it's either his copy or someone else's.
Well, he said it wasn't his copy, and he said it wasn't his roommate's.
What is that? Oh my god, that is fucking mine.
Dude, Brad, it's literally been sitting on the shelf for like since I moved into this house because it's
Hey,
yours and it's
it
just
should
been sitting here.
It fucking happens. I don't. Damn it! I want that back, Nolan. I want that back.
I'm not keeping it for
I
any
know.
reason. I don't need it.
I know.
It's right there. The next time you're here, fucking grab it, dude.
Fucking Travis has my original Yakuza.
Damn.
No, I mean like the other. I mean, I own like 500 PS2 games. It's absurd. Some of them are like really bad. Whatever. It's a very large collection. I know for a fact I own Spider-Man 2 on PlayStation 2. And I couldn't find it. And I just wanted to play it with my goddamn son, right? Because it's a really easy game to play for a little toddler to play. I specifically remember I played it. It was like the first game I got my niece to play when she was Henry's age, because all you have to do is tap R2 and he'll swing across the city, right? And I know like the modern one, you hold it down, but a toddler can't hold the button down. They can only like rapidly tap it, right? Because they're toddlers. They're not just going to hold the button down. That's not engaging. So I wanted that version of the game. I couldn't fucking find it. And it's like, where the hell is this game? And I ordered a copy off eBay because I was really mad.
How much?
Like $5.
There you go.
But yeah, PlayStation 2, Spider-Man 2, the movie is a really good toddler game.
Man, remember that time I bought a
Noted.
PlayStation 3 so I could play Spider-Man 3 the game?
Wow.
One of my
What?
biggest
the game you bought at launch?
that is the game I bought. Well, I don't think it was a launch title, but it was the game. It was the game. Was it? I mean, I don't think I bought a PS3 on launch night or anything, but that was the game. I was so hyped for that movie. That was the game that convinced me to buy a PlayStation 3 so I could play that game to feed my hype.
A lot of people were excited about that game because 2 was really good.
Yeah,
and the reviews came out for that, and I was like, "Oh fuck!" I never played it because I heard it was
I did.
awful.
I did. The shitty thing is, I played it, and then of course I went out and saw the movie. And I hadn't finished playing the game yet, and I was like still rolling with the disappointment from the movie. And then I was like, well, I guess I'll keep playing the game. And then the game just reminds me of how disappointed I was in the movie, and it was just a great big fucking mess.
Yeah, unfortunate.
Anyways, okay. Is there anything else we want to talk about news-wise, or can we answer some questions?
There was one thing I wanted to mention real quick.
Go
The
ahead.
shittiness going on over at Lab Zero Games.
I was gonna have that in my 4-player minute, but go.
There we go. Or is it? Can it be?
You can talk. Whatever Chris Davis wants. We can talk about it now, or we can talk about it in my 4-player minute.
It's your call, Chris Davis.
We can go ahead to questions. That's fine.
Okay, don't worry. It's going to come back up in the 4-player minute. All right. Nolan, do you have questions ready?
Sure do.
Okay, well, before you do that, because we don't do this at the beginning of the show anymore. This is kind of a change we decided to implement right before we went into the Y2K month. I don't read the feedback from the last episode during the beginning of the show, so we can get into impressions faster. But I want to take a second to read feedback from our last episode. Again, not a lot, and this was a Y2K episode, but Slopdog said, Y2K month feels like an awesome success. Thank you. Valkyrie Profile, Mega Man Legends 2, Metal Gear Ghost Babel have been added to my list of games to try out. And thanks for suffering through some of the bad ones, especially Shenmue. I've been curious about that game, but gameplay of it always seems so bland and tedious. Now all curiosity has been extinguished. Cheers. So
Mine too.
Yeah. And you only had to play like, how many hours of that did you end up playing last month?
Probably a couple hours only.
There you go. Only one way to like take care of that need is to just do it. So anyways, that's it for feedback. That's all I got this week. But again, reminder, if you listen to the show and you want to chime in, respond to some of the questions or discussions we're having on the show, go to 4playernetwork.com, find the post for this episode, and we will read it and respond to it at the beginning, or not the beginning, but during the community segment of the next episode. And now, without further ado, Nolan's going to read us some questions. I think these are backlog questions because it's been a while since we've...
There haven't been many new questions recently, probably just because, we were doing the 2000s months and not doing regular podcasts.
And I didn't update the Patreon post to remind people to leave their questions. So
yeah, so hopefully going forward, we'll start getting some new ones. But thankfully, since we don't have new ones, we can start working on our backlog. So I'm going back pretty far to July. Well, let's do it. So Thorax asks, I'll take a page from Osama bin Affleck's and ask
no.
Nick, what do you choose? Or I guess this can pretty much go to all of us. Eat a Costco pack of durian wafers, or play the entirety of Resident Evil 6 with David Lau.
Oh, I would play. I would still choose. Oh God. Well,
Give
now
me
that
the
I'm thinking
durian.
about it.
Are you sure, Chris
Here's
Davis?
the thing: does durian taste bad, or does it just smell bad?
It's more the smell than anything else.
It's more the smell, but the problem is while you're eating it, the smell gets up
smell
in
it.
you. Yeah,
And then it makes you,
doesn't
like,
just
gag.
go away. Yeah.
Okay, so I will say this: I feel like I feel like I would take Resident Evil 6, but then I think about that and I'm like, that's like a 40-hour experience.
Why?
That's like a 40-hour experience.
I would do Resident Evil 6 with David.
Yeah, I mean, it's a video game. I like video games.
He'll convince you that it's great.
I mean, I tried so hard. I had a good time playing it with Nolan, but I was like, there's no way we're going to play 3 more campaigns of this. We haven't even finished the first one.
I'm still down to play more with you, Nick.
All right, let's fucking do it. I mean,
All I
Resident Evil
know
8's coming up.
Yeah, that's a way to get ready for it.
Yeah.
What you
all
should
I know
play,
is that I've had allergies all my
Village
life.
up now on Steam.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
What you should play to get ready for Resident Evil 8 is Biohazard Village out now on Steam.
Jesus Christ.
Oh yes.
Yes, I heard about
That's
it.
pretty dope.
Something.
I bet they actually made a little bit of money off that because people were buying it as a joke. I mean, Carlos gave me a copy.
God
Oh
damn
my
it.
God.
I don't think it's for sale anymore though.
Next question,
They
Nolan.
probably made at least $300.
All right, next question from Zero Skies. If you were to make a game-like collector's edition of 4Player podcast, what merch or collectibles would you put in it?
So I feel like there should be I feel like there should be a statue, right? Like a singular statue, and it should be like a 3D model of that, like of the character art that Nellifi did for us that we kind of use on all of our branding materials. Just be like a nice 3D statuette of that.
I'm still somewhat critical of my my Luffy model.
We know.
I feel like it's not fat enough, and
I like how like Nellifi
for some reason, but like I don't have a weak chin in real life, you know.
I mean, it kind of looks like you do right now, but that's just the beard makes it hard to get the definition.
Yeah, my beard.
So I feel like there would have to be action figures of each of us. I think in Nellifi's art style, yeah. We would have Nolan's he's in Solid Snake's Metal Gear Solid 2 outfit, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But now his model's going to have a removable hair cap. And then Nick's is going to come with a placard that says actual size.
Oh, damn it.
I thought you were going to say mine's just like a box. Like that's all it is. It's like a little cardboard box.
I've got it. It's perfect. Like there'd be like they have all these things in it, right, that we've already talked about, and then there'd be like this one like mystery box, right? And it's like open the mystery box. What's in the collector's box? You open it up, and a fucking roach crawls out, like a live roach.
For Krondor?
Yeah, like
of course, the
roach of Krondor.
Yeah.
And like the funny thing is they wouldn't be expecting it, right? So they had the exact same reaction that like Brad had when the roach of Krondor literally fell from the light above our podcasting table back in David's apartment.
Yep,
that was pretty crazy. I watched that video recently, and I was surprised that I was not freaked out more.
Yeah, I mean, I wish you could. I wish the video quality was so bad. I wish you could actually see.
Oh God, yeah.
You can't even see the fucking thing in the video.
Yep.
Dude, I went to my. Speaking of roaches falling on you, I went to my. A roach didn't fall on me. Something else. I went to my parents last weekend, and me and Malia, we were taking a nap in the guest bedroom, and we were laying down, and I felt something on my arm.
Oh no!
And I woke up, and it was not a roach; it was a fucking yellow jacket, and I was like, "Holy shit!"
Jesus!
I knocked it off my arm, and then it was laying next to Malia, and I was like, "Malia, get the fuck up.
And then I just quietly left the room like, take
And then
her.
I had my Vita. I had my Vita because I was playing Valkyrie Profile, and I tried to smush it with my Vita, and like the bed was very soft. It didn't do anything.
You
As
just
beds
pushed it into the
are.
nice
I
mattress.
grabbed like a towel from the bathroom, and then I was like, all right, fuck you. And I wadded up real tight, and I started smushing the yellow jacket into the towel, like, oh fuck you, like I'm smushing them, right? And then I like wrapped them in the towel so I can like throw them down the toilet. But then it was like buzzing and shit in the towel. I was like, how's this fucker still alive? And then I was like smashing them, like stop. But then here's the crazy thing. In one of the other rooms, Henry was napping, and he'd just gone down for a nap. It's the middle of the day. It was hard to get him to nap when he's at my parents', and my parents have a new miniature schnauzer. So they have two miniature schnauzers, but one of them is like a puppy. It's a really yappy dog. You fucking bark. You stand up, he just starts barking at you because he's just a fucking asshole, right? So I had this yellow jacket in my hands in a towel. It was buzzing around and shit. And I was like, well, I'm really bad at trying to kill this thing. So I just need to get it outside.
You
But I
didn't.
couldn't leave the room because the little miniature schnauzer started going, started yapping at me. And it would wake Henry up. So I'm like, should I just like put it in the closet and let my parents deal with it at a later date? Maybe it'll die of time. But I think
Maybe it will die of time.
Die of time.
well, for lack of sunlight, I don't know.
Cause of death, time.
But eventually I just had to man up, and I just had to leave the room. And luckily the miniature schnauzer was on the back porch and saw me through the window and was like yapping at me. I was like, fuck you. And I went out the garage and I just threw the towel, and the yellow jacket flew out of the towel, and he's still
Why
perfectly
could
fine.
you
I didn't even hurt a wing on it.
why did you not just crush it with your hands if it was
I
wrapped in the
couldn't,
towel?
because it was like wrapped in like a towel ball, and I couldn't get enough pressure. And then I heard it buzzing, and then I was afraid that it was like near an outside layer of the towel, and because it was like a ball. It was like a ball.
Mhm.
I couldn't compress it anymore, and it was
Just
interesting.
step on
it
it
was
with your
perfectly
shoe.
fine. I can't. It horrified me because for the rest of the day I kept feeling stuff on me, and it was like freaking me out.
I have a terrible animal story that I'll save for my 4-player minute.
Well,
Of course,
Brad,
Alrighty.
I'm just glad that your story went like that, because as soon as you mentioned the dog, I was like, this is going to go so much worse.
This is not
He's
good.
going to feed the yellow jacket to the schnauzer.
What? No.
Like, he's going to do some kind of animal cruelty bullshit like
Brad's fucked up, but he's not that fucked up.
Yeah.
Next question, Nolan. I don't even remember what the
Alrighty.
last question was at this point. Oh wait, the collector's edition thing, right?
Yep.
that.
I think
Also,
we answered
Ed's
it adequately.
collector's edition, he wouldn't have a statue. It'd just be a copy of Warcraft 3.
There you go. Fair enough. It should just have each of our favorite games should be in the collector's box. Boom. Done.
Fucking, yeah, do it.
All right. Next question from Nannerpuss from Illinois. Would you rather uncontrollably sweat various condiments from your body, disgusting everyone you love and causing them all to distance themselves from you, leading you to a dark depression?
I think we
Or
already know his
would you-
answer.
Would you rather just buy condiments at the store regularly as you do today?
What a twist! I was not.
I don't know. Hold on. Do they have Whataburger condiments? And do we have the option to sweat
Yes.
Whataburger condiments if they don't?
Can I sweat the
I
spicy
mean,
ketchup
sure.
from Whataburger?
Ooh.
If I can't buy spicy ketchup anymore, but I can sweat it, I might choose sweat.
But you also are sweating it uncontrollably. Like nothing you do can stop it, I guess.
And
Like when
like,
you go to sleep at
depending-
night, you just wake up and just like a pile of spicy ketchup.
Oh,
You have to fucking sleep like Daredevil in like a bathtub.
Daredevil sleeps in a bathtub?
I think he has like a little water thing he gets in to help dampen the
Sensory
like the
deprivation.
noise.
Sensory chamber?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
I mean, in the Ben Affleck movie, I remember him doing that. I don't know if it's canon.
Like movie.
Now, I understand the
Watches that one
appeal.
once a year, like Smallville.
Yeah,
Yeah.
of course.
I would never do that.
I understand the appeal of being able to sweat whatever condiment you want, but like
There's no appeal. What are you talking about?
here's the thing though. The worst case scenario would be like you start sweating outside on a hot day, ketchup, and like the cops get called. Like
no.
What? I think we've spent too much time on what is a joke.
Next question,
Probably.
Nolan.
Yeah.
It's a good joke.
I did like his twist of his question though. That was pretty good. I would
That was
prefer to
nice.
just continue buying condiments as I am today.
All right, there you go.
I have to go into the grocery store.
Moving on. Next question from the Hairy Yeti. You have a one-time use superpower. Would you rather have the ability to summon a lamp or have the ability to summon a toothbrush and toothpaste into existence? You can do this once. I'm going to go with lamp.
Yeah, lamp probably.
I mean,
right?
who doesn't love lamp? Really?
Wait, but you'd only be able to do it once, so it's like you're in
You
one.
really need to see something though, you know.
Here's the question: what if you summon the lamp, but you're not near an outlet to plug it in?
I mean, you can move to an outlet.
But like, what if you're outdoors?
Monkey paw.
Well,
Don't.
What
Do I get to choose the lamp? A really nice lamp because it's only a one. But then, do I have a nice lamp?
It's a very nice lamp.
I feel like I can have. I'd rather. But then again, if I could summon a toothbrush, can I summon like a really nice like Sonicare or whatever?
That's a good point.
A really fancy toothbrush, maybe I do that.
Yeah.
Like, there's a cost analysis that comes with this. Like,
I don't think. I mean, I don't. It's really hard to like weigh these two things because if we're following these rules,
can I get like a mint in it where you press it comes in the container, you just press the top and the toothpaste comes out, you know, the toothpaste delivery system.
I don't know about that. I think it's just
we're talking about a toothbrush.
Toothpaste.
Next
I'm gonna go with the lamp. Next question.
Yeah. We'll do one more question today. This one from Fuzzy Turd.
Alrighty.
As someone who recently turned 21, I'm curious, what are some of the most funny, drunk/high video game experiences you've had?
Wait. Specifically video games in conjunction with drinking?
Or any kind of
but yeah, I get it.
Let's say ability to any kind of under influence of something.
Being inebriated while playing a video game. I don't know why. The only thing I could think of, because to be honest, I don't drink and play games a lot. At least not drink to the point where like I become, drunk. I always think of the time that I introduced Joel to Katamari Damacy while we were drinking, and that went well. Like it was just like that was probably like we were both pretty intoxicated at that point, but like we're playing Katamari Damacy, and it doesn't require a lot of investment, I suppose, and it was just wacky. And Joel had never seen or played anything like that before. He didn't know Katamari existed, so he was kind of in just a joyful place playing that, which was nice. That was a nice memory, I suppose. Not particularly funny, other than the fact that we were just laughing at everything because it's fucking Katamari. Picking up farm animals and shit on your giant ball.
Sure. That works.
Can't really think of anything.
We're responsible adults. We play games sober.
Well, I wouldn't necessarily say that. I mean, there's definitely been times where I've had a few and then played games, but I don't think there's really been any like crazy events that have happened while like drinking and playing, to my knowledge at least.
Like I rarely get drunk, so.
I mean, I definitely played a lot of tipsy Budokai in college.
Oh yeah, definitely. Like having a couple and then playing games
with
and
friends
stuff.
Who had no knowledge of Dragon Ball Z, so to hear them name everything wrong was hilarious.
I'm just picturing Brad there, kind of tipsy and just like laughing at every like mispronunciation. It's like, fucking nerd.
I feel like every other question would be like, is that another Goku?
Yes, it is.
I'm trying to remember some of the names and terminologies because there was some golden stuff, man, but I can't recall.
All right. Well, if you think of anything, feel free to bring it up. I want to close out the community segment by doing a supporter spotlight. We haven't done one in a few weeks. Again, if you are a supporter of us on Patreon at the $3. Oh my God, what is Nolan bust? Is he? You had to say Dragon Ball Z. He's going to literally get a Dragon Ball Z poster right now. He is pulling this out.
Nick,
There it is.
Do you remember this?
The classic.
Okay.
I had that one.
One of the earliest times, like memories I have with Nolan, is going to his house party in college, and we were both fucking drunk, hammered, and we ended up sitting there staring
my
at this
bed,
poster on his bed,
naming every character.
so drunk, just like obsessing over like we can name every character on that Dragon Ball Z poster. Thank you, Nolan, for bringing that memory back.
Yeah,
we were pretty drunk, and you know what? We named most of those characters on that poster. It was pretty.
We
good.
did.
That was a good party, Nolan. So, anyways, if you're a supporter of us on Patreon at the $3 tier or higher, or if you're a subscriber on Twitch, you should have access to the supporter spotlight channel in Discord at discord.gg/4player. There's a link pinned to the top of that channel if you want to submit your supporter spotlight. It's just a series of gaming related questions. Gives you an opportunity to tell the community more about yourself. I'll read some of your answers on the show. Bear with me on this one. It's Finding 404. Some of his answers are quite long. There's not a ton of breakdowns through here or line breaks, so I'm going to try my best to do this well. We'll see how it goes. Finding 404. He says, okay, sorry. And the question is, what is one interesting fact about yourself that you'd like to share with the community? He says, I have an associate's degree in applied science, and I'm in the process of getting my bachelor's degree in game design, which is cool. That's
Good luck.
That's cool. You should, if you make a game, please let us know. You should let us play your. I'm assuming usually you at the end of that kind of thing you would make like a project, right? Like an actual game. You should let us play it. It'd be fun. What are your top 5 games of all time? Usually people give like explanations or at least like a couple sentences. He just kind of listed the games here. So whatever y'all want to say about him, here you go. Number 5 is Assassin's Creed. Which one do you think?
2.
Damn it.
Well, that's what I was gonna say too. Yeah.
It's
Brotherhood.
I mean,
No, it's
that's-
gotta be 2.
That is the correct answer, Chris Davis. But it's Assassin's Creed. I'm just kidding. Sorry. I'm not judging.
That's
Assassin's
tough.
Creed, they're both great.
I treat the Ezio trilogy as a set of games you should probably play all of them.
Yeah. You know, like the Batman trilogy, like the Arkham trilogy is like a really solid set of games. I feel like the Ezio trilogy is
Revelations, really though.
Revelations. Here's the thing: Revelations, not amazing or like not a huge step forward, but the ending of that trilogy, and specifically what happens at the end of Revelations, really cool. Like, there's some really great revelations, like satisfying revelations,
and it's a great setup for 3.
Yeah, but also tower defense. Number 4.
Serious Sam, First Encounter. I have never played a Serious Sam game.
Not for you.
It's probably not for me. But yeah, good choice, I guess. Number 3, Hotline Miami.
2.
It's a good one.
It's
no,
it's Hotline Miami.
Yeah, OG.
You're
OG
supposed
Hotline Miami.
You're not doing the thing.
Oh, well, I mean,
Nick, do the thing.
Sorry, Hotline Miami. Wait, no, I put the wrong emphasis. Hold on.
Yeah.
Hotline Miami.
1.
There we go.
Yay.
Here, I'll do it for this one, Brad. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Number 2, Half-Life.
2.
Yeah. 2. Correct. Number 1, this one might be a little harder. Elder Scrolls.
That's what she said. Oblivion.
Skyrim. 3, Morrowind.
Skyrim.
2, Daggerfall.
Oh my god, you can't just say all of them.
Arena.
It's Skyrim. It's Skyrim. Damn it, it's Skyrim. Yeah, he didn't leave any like explanation as to why he loves these games, but solid list nonetheless. And And let's see, what is a game? Okay, I'm not gonna read this full answer because it's insanely long, but it is something worth mentioning because he was actually the guest on the Revival Club podcast when we were talking about sleeping dogs. So the question here is, what is a game that you consider to be underrated that you wish more people would play, and why? Again, I'm going to try and abbreviate some of this because he left a very long explanation. But he says John Woo's Stranglehold. When it comes to video games that have unique features and innovative game mechanics, Stranglehold is one of those games.
Yeah.
What this game is a video game sequel to the old Hong Kong action film Hard Boiled. Stranglehold takes place after that film and continues the story of Hard Boiled's protagonist, Inspector Tequila, also played by the same actor of Hard Boiled, Chow Yun-fat. So he goes through a big explanation of the game. I think that sums it up pretty well.
Twing.
It's got a dove meter.
You know what? So he goes into a great amount of detail about like the mechanics of this game, and he seemed very excited about it on the Revival Club podcast.
You could slide along the tops of tables. And
you could slide along. This is also very reminiscent of like maybe a Remedy game where there's a lot of emphasis on slow-mo gunplay and stuff. I'm going to kind of skip to the end of his thing here. He says, because he wrote like a novel on this. All right. For the first time playing this game, I was blown away for how innovative and entertaining the gameplay was, and I was baffled when this game was never talked about anymore. Mostly it is due to the fact that Midway was having a financial ordeal, and they had to pull the plug on making a Stranglehold sequel called Gunrunner. I didn't know that. The most recent thing that they have done with Stranglehold is put the game on GOG Galaxy in 2019. But that is just about it with this game. I can't give this game enough gratitude for having it be so out of the ordinary, but at the same time be really underappreciated. If you want to play a shooter game with fresh new gameplay mechanics and riveting action, this is the game I recommend playing. That's his Stranglehold appreciation in a nutshell, but great recommendation nonetheless. I personally never played it myself, but it's been something I've been interested in.
It's fun. You can twang. You can aim bullets. Like
you could twang
mid-flight. I can have
oh right, I forgot about twang. Forgot about Heavenly Sword, to be honest.
Fuck you.
Last thing I will do.
Perfect Shot I think is like one of our first uploaded videos, and I'm still impressed by my shot.
That's a good one.
All right. The last thing I'll say, I just said this question is make a recommendation. You can literally plug anything from games, movies, music, TV, books, etc. He says, if you ever want to play a board game with your friends without having to go outside, then a game like Tabletop Simulator is a great recommendation because you don't even have to buy a board game to play it with your friends. Just download the mod of a board game that you want to play with your friends and you are ready to go. It's fast, efficient, and you can have the same experience as if you were playing a physical board game. There you go. He recommends Tabletop Simulator. I mean, assuming that's just like software you download on PC.
It's a Steam game, basically.
It's a Steam game. So you just you pay for the simulator and then you download mods to play whatever.
So it's got workshop support, but it's also got a ton of official DLC for official board games. But the community disregards that and kind of creates their own version of those board games anyway, and they put them on the workshop.
Oh, okay. Thank you. That makes sense. So anyways, thank you very much, Finding 404. Again, I don't read all the responses from these, so we might eventually circle back and feature people again. But if you are interested in submitting your own answers to these questions, just if you're a supporter on Patreon or Twitch, go to the Supporter Spotlight channel in Discord. Find the pinned post. There's a link in there. Click it, and it's a simple Google form. Put in your answers. I'll pick one at random, and I'll read it on each show. So with that said, let's wrap it up, guys. It's the end of the show. It's time for the 4-player minute. Brad, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm watching the Perfect Shot video.
Okay, so you're not ready, is what you're saying.
Y'all should watch that clip. It's cool. I forgot the part at the end where it's like, attack your weak point for massive damage. They totally did a meme from like the big PS3 press conference.
Yep.
With the giant enemy crap. Okay, yeah, I'm ready.
Go for it.
My fuck you for this week is a combo of both Sanji and Wasteland 3 because I started playing I spent hours deciding how I'm going to build my characters. I watch build videos. I'm like, what am I going to make? What am I going to make? What am I going to make? I finally decided. I made my characters. I'm like, all right, I'm ready to go. I start playing the game. I'm streaming. I'm like, I don't know, like a half hour in, and 45 minutes, and Sanji's like, "Oh, did you get that one companion?" And I'm like, "What fucking companion? What fucking companion?" And there's all this confusion and frustration. I killed the feed just so people can watch the archive to find out what happened. Apparently, like 5 minutes into this game, you can very easily like not take the shot on someone before you even talk to them, which is something literally in the tutorial. Something you probably wouldn't do, but if you don't, you get this character killed unless you have a very specific stat point and a very specific speech thing. Who is like one of a few female companions in the entire game, a story companion that can just die in the first 5 minutes of the game in the tutorial. And Sanji's like, "Oh, did you get them? No, man, just keep going." But no, I couldn't fucking keep going. I had to restart the game, and like I couldn't just restart the game. I had to recreate my fucking characters. And when I was doing that, I was like, "Oh, maybe I want to make this instead. Maybe I want to make this instead." And the whole fucking night just went down the shitter because of this one thing. And it's not Sanji's fault. It's Wasteland 3's fault that you can miss a companion in the first 5 minutes of the game. But fuck you, Sanji. Because if Sanji wasn't there to tell me, I would have never known. I would have kept going and life would have moved on. I would have been happy.
Well, what's worse, that scenario just 5 minutes in, or that scenario 10 hours in?
Well, no. We'll see. The thing is,
you wouldn't have let yourself restart it 10 hours in, would you?
I wouldn't have. That's the thing. It's that I was so early on in the game, and that it's so fucked for something like that to happen in the first 5 minutes. It's very frustrating for me. If it happens later, that's just life. That's just this style of game. But here I was just really frustrated because I think the same thing happened when I started Chrono Cross, and you could, if you choose Kid to join your party, then like you miss 2 other characters from the very beginning of the game. And that happened while I was streaming. Anyways, my fuck you goes to Gutex and Mike Ross. And their excellent adventures is one of the big reasons I started paying attention to the FGC. I started watching like tournaments and stuff. And he's Pog Champ. You see him in chat right there. That's Gutex. Well, we found out he's no good. We found out he's Twitter. He's, alt-right QAnon, like COVID's a hoax. Like, he's dunzo.
He's a shithead.
Oh my god, yeah. So fuck Gutex, and my hype is for all the cool games coming out this week. I mean,
who else is like that I found out?
There's plenty. Don't tell me.
Adam Carolla.
Oh well, he's been what? You just
I didn't know this. I haven't
heard
Adam Carolla come up since the fucking Man Show was on the air. So
I mean, think about that statement for a second.
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, it should have been a red flag right there.
And Nolan goes to get his Man Show poster.
No, something else.
I was sad about that, but a long time ago because we found out about Adam Carolla a long time ago. Anyways, my hypes for this month, like Tony Hawk HD 1 and 2, Star Renegade, 13 Sentinels, Spelunky 2. It's a good month, and I'm hyped. Anyways, I should shut up.
Sweet.
Go ahead.
All right, Nolan?
Mm-hmm.
Your turn.
Alrighty. All right. So my hype is actually going to be non-video game related. It's for The Boys season 2. It comes out tomorrow. I'm pretty excited about that.
Is it the whole season, or do they do one episode at a time? I can't remember.
I'm pretty sure they do the whole season. It's an Amazon Prime thing, right?
Yeah, I don't feel like I've been around for many Amazon Prime season like releases. Maybe
someone correct me if I'm wrong. I could be very much wrong. I don't remember. I think I'll agree with you on that. That when I watched season 1, it was already like all out, and so I just kind of watched it all at once.
Scarecrow says whole season, so
okay. Well, there you go.
Yeah, sweet.
So I'm pretty excited about that. My second hype goes for the NVIDIA 3080. I'm thinking about getting one. It's a pretty good graphics card, which kind of leads into my sweat because I'm thinking about if I'm getting one of those, maybe I want to build a new PC. I don't know. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I don't know. I don't know.
Wait. The Man Show? Look. I used to have a fondness for Adam Carolla, but it had nothing to do with the Man Show.
I didn't say I had a fondness for him. I just said I hadn't heard his name since that was on the air. I haven't thought of. Oh yeah, he was on Loveline, wasn't he?
Yeah, Loveline is the reason, and then his radio show. Like Yeah, love Lion Dog.
Yep.
Anyways, he doesn't
That's a
believe in
fact.
science, so fuck that guy. Anyways,
All right. That was my sweat. Bernadette texted me about something. Okay.
the house is on fire. Get
irrelevant.
out when you can. Get out
yeah,
when
exactly.
you can.
And so, leading up to what Chris Davis brought earlier, my fuck you is going to go to Mike Z. So this is all of the Lab Zero controversy. If you're not familiar with it, Mike Z's an asshole, and then some. He's kind of a major douchebag from everything we've heard. Lots of sexual harassment, lots of sexism, lots of just being a very bad person. But a lot of shit was kind of going down at Lab Zeros. Some of it known,
Lab
some
Zero
of it kind
again.
of not
Remind
known.
me.
Skullgirls and Indivisible.
That's right. That's right.
So a bunch of artists and other people kind of started to quit, like saying, hey, I'm done with this. You're a piece of shit. I'm leaving. And that kind of cascaded into a bunch of people leaving the company to the point where I don't know when it was, if it was yesterday or it just happened that Mike Z ended up firing the rest of the staff and just laying everyone off. And yeah, Lab Zeros is kind of no more. But yeah, the thing is, he took, I don't remember all the details. He took complete control of the company a while back. So pretty much whatever he says goes, period, the end. And so, yeah, it's kind of a shitty scenario all around.
That super sucks. What a douche.
And Chris Davis, if you have anything you wanted to add to that, feel free.
I mean, I was just going to add that delightful timing. Indivisible is having a big sale on Steam right now. So
yep,
wonderful.
Maybe don't throw your money that way.
Yeah,
you do what you want, but
I'm more finishing it now after playing Valkyrie Profile. But
was that it for your 4-player minute, Nolan? Was that all?
Yep,
everything?
Correct.
Chris Davis, you're up.
Okay. My hype this week is actually for 13 Sentinels, Aegis Rim. I've never played a Vanillaware game before.
Well,
it's one of those things that just never got around to. I wanted to play Muramasa.
It's an interesting one to start with, I would imagine.
One to start, but I hear it's quite good.
Yeah, never.
It's a visual novel, unlike not an action game.
Well, I mean, it's supposedly like half adventure game, half like real-time strategy thing. And it's all about defending a city and giant robots for monsters. I'm like, fuck yeah, you've got my attention.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I'm
but it's not like Odin Sphere where you're like punching in big robots or anything, which would have been nice. But
I always recommend Muramasa, the Demon Blade, because that's a cool game.
Cool. So which of those got the HD port later?
They all did.
They all did, I think.
They all did.
Although I'm still waiting for Muramasa to come out on the Switch.
Odin Sphere came to PS4. Also, Dragon's Crown also came to PS4. So
okay,
Dragon's Crown's cool as well.
Yeah, maybe I'll look into that after this. So. Yeah, this comes out
I'm going to gameplay this. I'm really excited for it as well.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. My sweat, Brad, this is your fault.
Uh-oh.
So I've been trying to save up money for the new consoles, and of course Nvidia is trying to tease us with the graphics card, which I refuse to invest in.
How could this possibly be my fault?
It's all your fault.
So you mentioned you in a very long passing conversation I don't want to go into the other day about backwards compatibility on the PS4. You happened to mention the Polymega.
Oh no!
So I completely forgot about that thing.
As like ammunition against your way of thinking, and you twisted it around and decided it's something you wanted, and that's crazy.
Well, I'd been interested in the Polymega before, but I thought it was like it was one of those things that like this is a dream project. It's never going to come out. Evidently, it's actually coming out, and people are getting beta kits and testing it out, and I'm like, I have been looking for a way to play.
Modules, right? You have to buy different modules to play different types of games, right?
Well, you have to buy modules to play cartridge-based games. But the base model lets you play both PlayStation 1 and Sega Saturn games.
And how much is this, Chris Davis?
It's $3.99. So hence my sweat, because I'm like...
It's like analog. It's one of these boutiques consoles that
Yeah, but here's the thing though.
old physical media, but it upscales. I mean, it
Yeah, upscales it to
Converts
1080p, and it
the
does evidently does a decent job. But the thing for me is that in addition to being able to being a great way to play PlayStation 1 games in 1080p on a modern display without like emulation and everything. The modules themselves, like there is a module specifically for NES cartridges.
physical
And-
model, by the way.
Yeah, it's a physical module.
My God.
Which you got to pay an initial $80 for to get. But that is a way for me to play my collection of like 40 different NES games, and I'm kind of tempted. I'm honestly kind of fucking tempted there. So I don't know. It's coming out in November. I mean, there's 2 consoles coming out. I may not get it this year, but if it comes out and the reviews are pretty good for it, then I may.
How are you gonna play Virtual Cop on your Saturn?
So they're launching a light gun.
Pseudo Saturn.
They're launching a light gun.
They're launching a light gun. My
Yeah,
God.
the light gun that's going to work on a modern TV.
My God.
Hey, I've got copies of Time Crisis that I wanna play again, man. How else are you gonna play that game now?
$8.
$8, but how are you gonna play it?
Wait, what?
How are you going to play it?
Play what?
Time Crisis.
Time Crisis.
What do you mean? With all my light guns, I have like 8 light guns. What do you mean?
Yeah, light guns don't work on modern televisions.
I know. I'm saying, are you looking at my camera?
He has a CRT, Chris Davis.
Yeah,
I'm not going to buy a CRT. We've had this argument. I'm not spending $5 on a 115-pound TV that I got to lug up 3 flights of
Can you
stairs.
really buy a CRT for $8?
It's not 115 pounds. This is a 20-inch CRT, which is all you need.
He dodged the question there,
yeah.
Nick.
Dude, fucking Goodwill, man. Although the thing about
I'm not buying a CRT. I'm just wondering if that's really what you can buy CRTs for.
I got this from a thrift store. I mean, if you, the thing is, Goodwill specifically stopped putting them out on the floor, but I think they still get them in. You just got to ask. They probably got some in the back, but
They got them behind the counter.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, they're not
over the counter television. Chris Davis, continue.
Yes, I don't really. Well, I kind of have a thank you. I do thank our supporters for letting us do the Retro Month last month. I got to.
They allowed us.
Yeah. Well, I mean, they you know.
They what you're saying is thank you for not leaving while we did this.
Thank you for sticking around and watching my Parasite E2 stream.
I mean, I think people enjoyed it just as much as any other dumb shit we would have played.
We didn't. I didn't play it on the feed, but I played through all of Dino Crisis 2, and I finished it the other day. I should have mentioned it in the document. I just didn't this week.
It's still a pretty good game.
It's still a pretty good game. It's a lot shorter than I remembered.
Yeah.
But,
we did talk about it a little bit last week, so.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, thank y'all for doing that. My fuck you this week goes to Nintendo. Because it's Mario's 35th anniversary. And what do? You do a port collection, and you do an augmented reality toy game, and you do a battle royale that's only available for like 6 months to play. Really?
Well,
I will say this. First of all, while it is a port collection, quote unquote, some of those games are upscaled and improved and cleaned up a little bit.
2 of those games are standard def games. Actually, all 3 of them are. So I mean, there has to be some upres. And also, we didn't mention the port of Super Mario 3D World.
3D World.
Oh yeah. So
Really
the only thing with that one is that one doesn't come out until like February of next year.
Yeah.
But it also has that Bowser whatever thing.
Bowser's Dungeon or
Bowser's
Yeah.
Level.
Which seems like new content.
You play as Bowser. I mean, that's the game where you play as a bunch of different characters. So maybe
I'm kind of interested in that.
Yeah,
I mean, I've heard that is a Mario game that I've never touched, and I feel like that's
Chris Davis. I mentioned on Twitter that Activision sort of set the bar for like these remake collections, right? I mean, they redid Crash and Spyro and this Tony Hawk, which comes out next week.
Yeah.
and they're all $40 with all new graphics, and they all look great.
Yeah.
And that, they sort of set the bar. And compared to that, the Nintendo thing is kind of like bullshit, right? Like that $60 and they didn't redo all the graphics or whatever. But at the same time, it's a lot more than they'll ever do for Metroid. So
That is
Well,
true.
Metroid is a whole other kettle of fish. So,
All right.
I just
a whole other
No.
kettle of fish.
Okay, let's don't take the bait, Brad. Don't take the bait. Just ignore the comment.
Brad, believe me,
Just
I
push it
feel
down.
for you when it comes to Metroid. I
Just push it down.
100% understand why Nintendo's. I
You
don't
wanna
even
know why
know
I'm mad?
what word to describe just the stupidity of them not putting out new content for those games.
You know why I'm mad? How long is it going to take for Ocarina of Time to be put on Switch? What the fuck? Why has that not happened yet? Anyways, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Hold on. I got kettle of fish, noun. A situation, state of affairs, often used ironically in the phrase a pretty or fine kettle of fish. 2, case, matter of consideration. That's quite a different kettle of fish.
Okay. Are you
Also-
done, Brad?
Yes.
Can I move
Also,
on?
Nick, in February is the 35th anniversary of Zelda. That's when you're going to get your Ocarina announcement. So don't worry.
Well,
It's coming.
I hope it God, I hope all I want
Hot
is
dog bet right now.
all I want is the Ocarina of Time that came out on the 3DS on a fucking Switch cartridge that I can play on the go. That's what I want.
There's so much
Anyways.
fan art out there of the fact that the anniversary of Zelda is the same anniversary of Metroid, and there's always like a sad Samus in the corner while everyone's celebrating Zelda. There's like
It's true.
quite a bit of fan art of that particular scene.
That's fabulous. Okay. My 4-player minute starts now. My first hype is moving. I've mentioned this quite a bit. I've been very busy. I've been very absent also from the community, which I think ties to my thank you this week, which goes to the community, particularly the people who have been participating in the Revival Club. I know I've been very absent and not kind of present in Discord. I've been very busy trying to get ready for this move. But I assure you, when I'm settled in, I will be back in full force. I'll be returning to Bully. I'll be finishing that game. I played some more of it the other night on the stream. The game is still awesome. Looking forward to playing more of it. But yeah, I'm very excited to move. I'm excited to never have to see the inside of this room again. I'm excited to have a desk with a normal chair where I can stream and play games and record this podcast without sitting in this really weird, awkward chair position that I'm in. So I'm very, very much looking forward to that. My second hype goes for No Time to Die. New trailer launched today. I had forgotten what it feels like to be excited for movies, even though by the time this movie finally comes out, it probably still won't be safe to go to a movie theater. But that's a good trailer. It's a good trailer. I'm very excited.
For which one?
No Time to Die, the James Bond movie.
Bond.
And your sweat is for the Batman?
My sweat is for the Batman who has COVID.
Yep.
Robert, they were filming again for 3 days, and now he has COVID, and now they're shut down for another 2 weeks. Oh my God. It's almost like, it's fucking, fuck this. I mean, fuck this virus for a lot of reasons, obviously, but let's just add this to the list. And my real fuck you this week, I mentioned this on Twitter last week, and this is my animal story. We're obviously getting ready to move. We sold the house, or whatever, and we had a rat in our garage, right? So I was like, I'm gonna go get a rat trap. We're gonna set it, and we'll be done with it. So last week we were recording the podcast.
Over again, huh?
I say yes, it actually is. So I set the rat trap, and then that night before I went to bed, after we finished the podcast, I went to check the trap. It was kind of behind our washer, which is in our garage, and I saw there was a rat in it. Got it. I was like, I'll take care of the rat in the morning. So I go to bed. I wake up in the morning. Robin tells me it's not dead yet. And I was like, what? It wasn't. It was dead. Like, I looked at it last night. It was right there. It wasn't moving. What the fuck do you mean it's not dead? So I go in there. Sure enough, it's not dead, but it's clearly not okay. So I already feel like an awful human being because I decided to go to bed and let this thing suffer all night. I'm just like, I can't do animal cruelty, even if it's a fucking rat.
No.
So we're like, how are we gonna do it? Let's trick it into like falling into the trap again, because it was on kind of a ledge. So we put like a trash can over it and like kind of pulled the trash can over the edge, and we set the trap right underneath it. And it goes out, hits the trap again, sets it off, flies out of the trap, still not dead. So I'm like, I'm gonna have to fucking break this thing's neck. I pick it up. I pick this fucking poor thing up in with a plastic bag, and I had to fucking grab its neck and fucking break it. Oh my god! And then it starts screaming. It starts screaming.
Under some water.
I don't think you had to do any of this.
What did you do?
Nick, you should have just sold your house and left.
I know. I told myself.
They're dead.
Chris Davis said I had my Henry Cavill moment. It was just like that. The point is, the point of the story is, fuck rat traps. I will never use a rat trap again because, by the way, I bought the quote unquote heavy duty rat trap to make sure that it dies instantly. I tortured this thing for 8 hours and then had to kill it with my bare hands.
One of the sticky traps.
Oh my god, Nick!
Dude,
are you still thinking about it sometimes?
Yes, I am. It ruined my day. Last Friday. I was just like not cool. I was like, I can't believe that happened. So
I say you shouldn't have killed it. Just let it be a new surprise for the new tenants.
I mean, I was trying to do my due diligence.
All right. Well, next time, Nick, get a bucket of water.
Well, here's the thing. It chewed a hole in an air duct, which I had to pay to get fixed. So I was like, that's not cool. I'm getting rid of this rat. So
or you can get traps where they don't have to die.
I know, and believe me, Brad, I will definitely do that next time because I'm never using a rat trap like that ever again.
Traps. Those are.
I will live in heart. By the way, like I've lived in this house for 5 years. I've never once had a run-in with a rat. We were living in perfect harmony. I hate myself for what I did last week. I hate myself.
No, dude. When I moved out of this last house because they were selling it, like 3 days before moving day, a rat moves into our fucking garage and starts crapping everywhere. And we're trying to get our fucking deposit back, and now it seems like we're fucking rat friends.
Yep. And by the way, to answer your question, Sony, no, it was not a rat trap from a dollar store. I got the heavy duty rat trap from fucking Home Depot. It was like a $6 trap, and it was like heavy duty plastic with like a really fucking thick, like heavy bar. Man, like it.
Yeah.
Never again. I'm never doing it again. I just wanted to say, fuck rat traps. I'm never doing it again. And both of my cats are too terrible at being cats. I can't just let the cats in. They would just stare at it. They're awful. So, anyways, that's my story. And I think that's a good place to end today. So, guys, thank you so much for listening. That's another episode of our show. We will be back. Well, next Thursdays, I'm not going to be here. I don't know if we're going to end up recording a show or if we're just going to do like a multiplayer night. That's the day before I move, so just not a good night for me to record a show.
You'll find out next week.
We'll do something. But I will be back in 2 weeks to be on whatever we do then, which will be a show. So, but again, thank you for listening. If you want to support us on Patreon, we really appreciate it. Patreon.com/4player. Or, of course, you can just find us in Discord at discord.gg/4player. And you can find all of our shows at 4playernetwork.com. And with that said, be safe, be kind to each other, have a good night, and we'll see you next time.